the chatter.
Welcome to Debate Flat Earth and More. What brings you to the server, Marvin?
I'm just interested in the whole kind of, consensus around flat Earth. My dad is a very strict flat Earth believer.
Mm-hmm.
He, speaks to me about it,
Well done, Dad. Good man.
Wow.
the weekend, and I
He's
was just
woke.
keen to learn more.
Well, what has your dad told us? Tell us what your dad has told us. What has he said? Good old dad.
He's told a lot about like the theories of flat Earth and about how a lot of like normal facts about how the Earth is round can like be proven wrong. And he was talking about a laser test
Mm-hmm.
when he went
Oh,
fishing. We went line fishing last Thursday, and he was talking about the laser test.
wow.
Which failed.
Excellent.
It doesn't prove
excellent.
that
There's
Earth is
been,
flat.
hang on a minute. There's been like lots of different laser tests around the world. There's not just one laser test out there.
Did he mention FE Core or perhaps Globebusters or anything specific about it?
Not really. That's why I looked online to see if I could join a community to learn more.
Oh, well, you won't be learning much of this community about Flat Earth because they're all scoffers and they're mainly globers in this channel.
I'm going to scoff at you
no.
now, Becky.
But before
There's
we get
one of
into
them
all
there,
that,
an
let's
Australian
find out
scoffer
more-
at that.
Let's find out more about Marvin. So, how long has your dad been a flat earther then, Marvin?
To be fair, we have
He
Shadow
said
Earthers
12 years.
12 years.
Not possible.
12
He
years,
said a
Marvin.
very long time.
Uh-huh. So when did he tell you? Like recently or a long time ago?
It's always kind of been there for a long time, but
Mhm.
as I've gotten older, I've kind of, listened to him a lot more.
Mm-hmm. What do you agree with him? Disagree with him? What do you think? Your dad's right? You think he's wrong?
I'm not. I haven't really made my judgment on it yet, but I didn't want to be biased towards my father, obviously, because how he is
Absolutely. Well, you are in the best place for the globe evidence. Okay, we're going to try and do our very, very best to convince you and show you that it can't possibly be flat. It can only be a ball spinning, flying through space. You up for that?
Interesting.
100%.
Sorry?
Fortunately,
I can't hear you because everyone else is over talking you. Sorry.
Don't
say that
ruin
again.
it. Don't ruin it. Let Chemo go.
Sorry, I
Don't ruin
can't
it.
hear you
let's
there, Marvin.
go.
Everyone's
100%.
over talking you. Say that again, Marvin.
Hey, I'm ready for it.
Absolutely, like I say, so this is, like I say, one of the best places you'll find online. I'm a flat earther, by the way, but the majority of people in here are globe earthers. We've got physicists, we've got engineers, we've got rocket scientists, we've got astronauts, son of astronauts in here. We have all kinds, all walks of life that will be able to help you understand why we're on a board. But first of all, what is your view? Are you saying that you're not sure, or what? Give me more of your position.
I'm kind of on the fence. Obviously, I've been exposed to both kind of views on whether the Earth's round or flat.
Mhm.
There's a lot of scientific data on the internet which swings both ways, so I was just keen to learn more.
Excellent. Well, like I say, this is probably the best place for globe information. So what would you like to know? What are you doubting about the globe? What does Father doubt about the globe?
He hasn't really said any doubts. It was more just scientific proofs, which are kind of like the only one I can really kind of think of that he's mentioned, but it just sparked an interest was actually the laser theory.
Okay, so we need more about you now then. What would swing it for you, either way, globe or flat?
I think learning more about different proofs about flat, really.
Marvin, yeah.
Yes, sir.
I'm a gatekeeper, shill and a gaslighter. So I'm here to test you. Have you ever seen curving water? Have you ever seen water curve anywhere?
When it's in a cup around the edges.
But around the edges. Have you ever seen it sort of like outside of the cup do that? Like, like a bath or a swimming pool or
No, I can't
however
say I
big you
have,
want to go.
no.
So if you put a laser over that water, do you think like there's either you got two options, right? The laser's like going to be curving, or it's going to be the surface of the water, right?
Merle, what if you have a broken laser and the collimator doesn't work properly? What if that happens?
Oh well, let's go to a perfect scenario where there's no atmospheric interference and all the instruments are working perfectly like they should.
I wish they worked for
And
that
everything's
laser.
calibrated. But yeah, anyway, sorry Marvin. I just thought I'd chime in there and just say hi and just know that there's gaslighters and gatekeepers in the room too.
Oh, okay, thank you very
Man,
much.
what I was thinking, let's give him the best opportunity to make a critical decision. So he's in the Globe Earther arena now. As I've said, this is the best place to find out about the globe. These guys have just about everything you need, Marvin. So let's try and get you back on the ball. If your father's on the flat, we can get your father back on the ball, and you can say, "Hey, Dad, I was in a server today. Spoke to some great guys. They presented me with this evidence. What do you think of this?" Yeah, we try and do something like that today.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping.
That's Marvin. We're on the same page. So usually, as flat earthers, we have 3 questions. Well, I do. Some of us have more. But those 3 questions that we pose to the Globe Earthers are: has anyone measured the curvature anywhere at any time that can be replicated today? We ask a second question: has anyone detected rotation, measured it, scienced it, observed it, Earth spin, axial rotation, and things like that? Third question is that we jump to: has anyone got a scientific experiment to demonstrate either gas pressure without a container or gas pressure next to a vacuum, as it were? That's usually where I would begin, but obviously you're on the fence. So how can we begin with the globe evidence? What are you looking for? Move you on a board.
I'd like to kind of debunk the laser theory
Okay.
for one, because that's one he talks about quite a lot.
Just ask him about the collimator. If he brings it up, or if you want to randomly bring it up, you can ask him about the collimator and if they broke it on site, and then the evidence that they do present. What were they expecting across that water, and why is there no picture during the experiment? Those are pretty good starts. Let me see if I can find the video in which they cut up the laser test. I guess you can call it company or group of people. The head said that they wanted something specific. They broke some shit. They couldn't do that, so they changed it to some other arbitrary conclusion. And they essentially said that their experiment was a failure despite showing a few things.
One of my favourite methods, Malcolm, is you use their standard of evidence to evaluate their evidence for a flat Earth. So what you tend to hear is all the reasons that they think it's not a globe, but what you don't hear is all the reasons that they think it's actually flat.
Marvin, this is a gatekeeper, just so you know. Marvin, when
Oh, by the way, this is a chicken rapist, just so you know. I thought I'd poison the well as well, but thanks for that.
when you shoot a laser, say small scale, like say if you're in a bedroom and you had a laser and you shot the beam, what shape or direction would you say the beam would go in?
I mean, I've got a laser pen, and it's kind of more. It's like a precise one. It's kind of like a square, but I've also got ones that are kind of, around. But it goes in a straight line.
It goes in a straight line. Okay, I didn't want to put the words in your mouth. So it sort of goes in a straight line. It's interesting. Lasers sort of, what do they say? Laser guided accuracy or precision. That's what they say. Laser precision, right?
Right.
Yeah, my dad was in the Marine Corps, and he talks about like how he had.
Is that military?
Yeah.
So your father was in the military. Is he an expert in which field, or if you don't mind me asking?
He was in mortars, in like a mortar platoon for quite a long time.
Okay, and he understands the Earth is flat. I mean, does that make sense?
Does it get any better?
I don't know whether he got his. I don't know whether he got his beliefs from, the Marine Corps, or he got them elsewhere. But it was, I'd say, roughly the past kind of 10 years. I want to say 10 years, but I can't really say for sure. But yeah, it is the Marine Corps in the UK.
Hey Marvin, I just need to do a little bit of a check. How old are you?
I am 23.
Okay.
He's
no
good
worries,
to
carry
go, Waz. Stop worrying. Can't you tell this man
on.
is a
Just
man?
checking. Just
He thinks you're
checking.
under 18,
Doing-
Marvin, but don't worry.
Doing the due diligence, Spurs.
It's all right. That's all right.
And Marvin, I tagged you in a
Hello?
video in the chat. Can you see it?
Was it the laser
Hello?
test
Yeah.
video?
So by Sly Sparkane,
You're back.
that'd be a
So
good
who's
series to
calling me
watch.
Tony?
Can
Yeah,
I
it's
just say on that note, there is so many different laser tests out there. You would have to go and debunk every single laser test. You can debunk this one, but what about all the other ones?
When we talk about flat Earth and globe Earth, and someone says the laser test, there's a very
No,
very
he
high
said
probability.
he said his dad went fishing and he was talking about a laser test, not
Right,
the
so
laser
within-
test.
Within flat Earth
You're
and globe
just
Earth, if
assuming
someone
that
says
it's this
a
laser
laser,
test.
I could get to the end.
Good call, Becky.
If someone says a laser test, there's a high probability that it's going to be the FE core
This guy
laser
is-
test.
No, it
This
could be
guy
taboo
isn't in the flat
conspiracy.
Earth community for a start,
Mhm.
so it's his dad that's a flat earther. So
Okay.
we don't know what laser test he's talking about because we've got laser tests all around and we've all seen different people doing them
That's fine.
in all
it's fine,
different
Becky.
videos.
He could have been talking about taboo
Becky, it's fine.
conspiracies laser tests, where it
Bio's just
shows
talking
for
about-
such a over a
Bio-
straight road, it's completely
Fuck's
flat.
sake.
Could have been talking about that.
He's talking about one laser test.
Right. Jumping to the conclusion already, assuming it's this laser test.
Talking about
Okay.
the
A laser
FE
test.
core laser test.
Here, let me
There
clarify.
are so many other laser
You know-
tests out there.
Let
Are
me
you going to
clarify.
go and debunk every single one of
Well,
those too?
You know
I'll
the
clarify for you, Becky. No, I'll clarify, and I'll be very clear. Marvin, you brought up that your dad talked about a laser test. What I would like to show you is how flat earthers perform their own laser test, and this is an explanation of their
Well,
methodology.
I
what
was not
happened
involved
between,
in that laser test.
what happened
and
in
I'm a flat
between,
earther.
and then what they claimed initially, the entire timeline. This is a very good series to
This is
see
a
how flat
handful of
earthers perform
people.
a laser test.
This is a handful of people that performed a laser test. They do not represent flat earthers all around the world. That's ridiculous.
They only
You're
take in their
actually
money
now
to perform
trying
these
to say
experiments,
that
okay?
this group of people are the flat earthers. Well, I'm sorry, they're not. I don't even know these people.
They take in money from flat earthers, and they make
Well, I
claims
didn't give them any money.
aligned with flat earthers.
Okay, so they
are
could be
performing
scam
these for flat
artists
earthers.
that are scamming flat earthers.
Here's another laser
No, yeah, I have no
test.
problem with that. Sure.
All right,
Yeah, I
look,
agree.
That
here's
could be
a,
happening.
all right. So look,
Just-
Marvin, here's another laser. Oh, Marvin, is Marvin here? Yeah. So here's another laser test. Again, so show your father this test. if
Even
he's
Merle
we
laughed.
don't know exactly. Marvin, I think you're trying to say, are you asking about do they prove flat or round, basically, right?
Yeah.
Right. So let's get to the nuts and bolts. Ball
Well,
Earthers.
can I just say
Tell
just
'em-
really quick?
Go on, Emma.
I'll be sure. Marvin, that's why I asked you to directly if you own a laser. You know, just so you've got a reference point yourself of what they are and what they can do, right? I'm not trying to mess with you here.
Oh yeah, I've got one of my father's lasers.
These lasers will be very much more
Oh,
powerful.
okay. Hang on a minute. So was your father out fishing and doing a laser test himself with his own laser?
No, he was talking about a laser test someone else has done. I think he was talking about two different ones. And he kind of
Okay.
he was actually kind of referencing a video where it kind of debunked it, but then I can't remember what he said, but he kind of managed to persuade me to kind of look more about it.
Well, we should definitely give you a link to the proper Flat Earth server after this too.
Because I know Chemo wants to jump in there too. Like
Oh, we got
Marvin,
time, Mel, we got
without being too personal, is your father quite thorough into things like precision, science, being accurate?
Yeah, I mean,
factual? Is he that
he-
kind of guy?
He was a sniper for 5 years, so
Right. I like the sound of your dad, by the way. Sounds like
yeah,
he's
he's in the
pretty-
military as well. It's even better.
You
You're
know
an
what I'm saying?
expert on side.
It's interesting.
But look, well, I'm trying to do the globe as a favour.
Yeah,
Obviously,
shut up.
they're in their arena, and like I say, this is the best place to gather evidence. So we're trying to help him get back to the ball if it's possible, so we can get his dad back to the ball if it's possible. Obviously, this is bothering.
You're the worst one to do that, Chemo.
This is obviously bothering Marvin that his dad's a flat earther, and he wants to know why. So,
yeah, my mum's around Earth, so it's an interesting dinner time.
Mother's the flat earther also.
No, she's around Earth.
Oh, ball earther. Mother's a ball earther. That's interesting. The dynamic there.
Hey, Marvin, I just sent you a message with an invite to another server too if you are into this topic. You might like that
thank
one
you
as
very
well.
much.
That's my pleasure.
Right, experts. It's time.
Is there any chance your dad might want to join this server, Marvin?
He's at work right now, but I'll have to set him up a Discord. But yeah, I could get him on. I'm
That'd be
sure
good.
he's in like a Facebook group at the minute, but they're all a bit.
Get him on
Okay.
here. Get him on
Oh,
here.
Oh, can you give him the
It'd be interesting. It'd be interesting to hear his take.
Can I and
His
let
take on
let
reality.
him know that if he comes in here, he will meet a room full of round earthers or ball earthers. But that link I gave you is where all the other flat earthers hang out.
There are only-
Does he enjoy debating or having this discussion with opposing side?
I guess the only person he's really had a debate from is my mum, but not really like someone who's kind of informed. No,
This is
but-
great.
Sure.
Do you think his mind's made up? Do you think that
Was.
he's
Let's
hard and fast
not
a
bring
flat
his dad
earther?
in. Dad's not here to defend himself.
Spurs, excuse me. Spurs,
Yeah, but I feel
excuse
like
me,
you're
I'm
attacking
asking
his
Marvin a
dad
question.
now, and it's like, well, let's get
Do you
Marvin
think
back.
his mind's Spurs? I've hardly spoken tonight. I just want to ask him a question. Do you think your dad's hard and fast set?
I think so. He's very set in his stride. Obviously, since the Marines.
Look,
and
this is
stuff.
why Becky's saying he shouldn't come here, right? He's already been attacked. He's not even here.
Spurs. I'm not attacking him. All right, calm down. Keep your panties on. Everything's fine.
Okay, so enough of his father. Let's get back to the ball. You want evidence that we're on a
Jesus
ball.
Christ.
That's what Marvin's looking for, I think. Marvin, yes?
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. So again, like I say, you are in the best place. So I don't know where you're going to start. Lasers was.
Two celestial poles. Let's start there, Chemo.
How
Why
does
don't you give your best evidence for the globe Earth?
Yeah, what's the best evidence for the globe Earth? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah, what's your best evidence for the globe Earth?
Okay, so like I said, we've got Marvin here, Druss.
You were
Marvin?
wondering what to present first, Chemo.
Whatever
then
you
Druss
want,
gave you a
whatever you like,
suggestion.
whatever you need.
Just gave you a suggestion.
He says lasers. Now tell him why lasers do not prove the Earth is flat. That's what he wants to know.
Like, you can't hear me,
Well-
Virgil. I don't know why.
But
I
No,
can hear you,
before,
Druss.
but
Even Chemo
Before-
can't have proper conversation.
What's wrong with it?
With people
I'm
that
trying to
oppose
get you
his
back into the
viewpoint.
ball, encourage the
Chemo's
globe.
fine.
You don't even want to encourage the globe. What's going on?
Right, but you were
Chemo's-
pondering about where we should start, and then Druss
Well-
brought it up of what's your best evidence for it. That seems like a
You
reasonable
don't want me to get
suggestion.
into this now, do you? This is why
Marvin.
we're giving you ballers the opportunity, full floor, to explain to
There you
Marvin.
go.
why
Two
we're-
celestial poles. That's the first place we should go, Chemo.
Okay,
Two
there
celestial
you
poles.
go.
Well, Marvin, before you joined today, I was talking to someone earlier about this. Do you think looking at the sky and the stars, the sun, the moon, the planets, whatever you want to call them, the sky, right, at night, do you think that's a good way to establish the shape of where you live?
Yeah, like my dad's actually quite interested in like the stars and stuff. When I was little, he'd always teach me about like different constellations, like Ursa Major and Ursa Minor, and stuff like that. But I always used to look at the moon and think, how could it be flat if that's round? But then he'd always say, you can only see it from your perspective. It's a plate.
Right. Interesting. I mean, I'm genuinely asking you the question because to me, I can't rationally follow that thought exercise to its rational conclusion. Like, I don't see how me looking at the celestial bodies helps me establish the shape of what I'm standing upon. It's just a dilemma I find myself struggling with. I just don't know how that's rational. Because the main point is that the moon and the sun and the constellations and the stars, they're not the Earth, are they?
Hey, Merle, can you provide an explanation on which everyone is on a flat surface looking up and in the same direction, yet some people see a particular constellation of stars or group of stars rotating in one direction, and another group of people see a group of stars rotating in a different direction? Can you explain how that's possible with everyone looking in the same direction?
Oh, we don't have
Outside
a
of
mo-
it,
we don't have a
outside
model.
of a sphere, of course.
We don't have a model plane.
No, I just want an explanation of something that we observe, because we have an explanation, and it works demonstratively. I'm looking for a flat surface, flat Earth explanation.
No, we don't have an explanation. So, Marvin, they have an explanation.
Beautiful, 1-0 globe.
Yeah, they have an explanation for what did you say you have for the stars or something? The poles.
2 celestial poles,
So Marvin,
and
how does
they spin in opposite directions.
how does that grab you, Marvin?
I think I need it kind of more explaining to me.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. That's fine. So, on the globe Earth, you have a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. When you're in the northern hemisphere, you see a particular group of stars. You may not necessarily see any in the south, maybe a portion of it. Neither here nor there. When you look at the north celestial pole, you'll see a clockwise rotation. Time and time again, we got star trails of it. But when you go to the southern hemisphere and you're looking at the southern celestial pole, all the stars are spinning counterclockwise.
They're
So-
different stars too.
So the way that
Different
you can
constellation.
demonstrate this is, if it were a sphere, you can use your body as the Earth. So if you're in your room and you set up stars on your ceiling and stars on the ground, when you spin in the same exact direction, when you look up, you have a particular clockwise, counterclockwise direction. When you look down, that direction is going to be opposite, but you're still spinning the same direction. But now the test is, if you're on a flat surface, everyone is looking up. So in what way, spinning in the same direction, do you get 2 directions when looking up? I'll provide some videos of what I mean with this rotation.
It's
Well,
a very
I
big
think
problem. It's a very big problem when it comes to the flat Earth. I mean, the flat Earth is very easy to dismiss because there are so many observations that cannot work if the Earth is flat.
Well,
Like what?
what the flat earthers will say
name-
is just
Name
lights in
five.
the sky. So who cares? They're just lights in the sky. We can't tell anything from them.
Well, you may
that's-
claim
that's-
that, but I
that's-
don't believe
That's
you.
not
Michael.
exactly. That's not exactly true. There's different constellations divided by an equator. So there's a southern hemisphere and a northern hemisphere. The constellations are completely different for a start. Globe Earth can't explain that. And the constellations never change. But apparently
they do over
we're
time.
hurtling through space.
They do over time. The best example of
They don't.
stars moving in the sky would be the North Star. So the North Star's name isn't North Star; it's Polaris. But there's documentation which shows separate civilizations, ancient Indian and ancient Egyptian civilizations, using a particular star within a particular constellation, and that constellation would be Draco for Indian, or for Egyptian, Indian something else. But it's the same shape, it's the same constellation, and the same star. But the North Star today isn't in that constellation. So we have documentation of the North Star changing because the stars do change in the sky or move.
No, they
Just
don't,
going back
because
to
you-
Michael
you-
Moreau-
there's
Well,
star
sorry,
trails.
sorry. Marvin. Just heard that.
Right.
Hello?
Hello? Yeah, Marvin. So you've just heard that from Bio. What's your position now?
I just need a bit more, I suppose.
It was difficult to understand. I get that. Baya, can you break it down more?
I would really like to interject, Chemo, because I've been waiting to talk for ages, and when I did talk, you muted me straight away, and I would like to get a point out, if I may.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. So there are a whole load of observations, and one of the points that Michael made, Marvin, which I totally disagree with, is you can't tell anything by the sky. No, we can judge the season. We can judge the beginning and the end of a year. We can judge when Easter is going to be, all just by looking up at the sky. So we can tell lots of good information from the sky. And it comes down to two basic questions. Are we moving, or is the sky moving?
Yeah, I agree. I don't genuinely believe that. I'm just saying this is what flat earthers say. Anytime
In that case, then I will reduce the level of contempt that I had for your statement.
They're just disingenuous people. Anytime
my
you find any
God.
evidence
Michael?
from astronomy, they just say,
It's
"Oh, lights in the
Michael.
sky. We can't tell anything."
Michael.
Hey,
Michael Marino. Hello. I haven't
remember
seen you
you, Michael.
forever.
Good day, Michael.
Hello.
Marino. Michael.
how you doing?
Well, thank
But if you want a very simple observation that you cannot do, Marvin, on a flat Earth is in the southern hemisphere, you can see the same star looking south from 3 different continents on the same night, and yet you're talking about 180 degrees of separation if the Earth is flat. Of course, they don't want to give us a model or anything else, because the only thing that they do, they can't prove their position. They can only try and dismiss ours, which is what you hear people like Chemo doing.
How do you have star trails, concentric circles, if all the stars are moving?
It's all moving relatively together.
Oh.
So all the stars are moving, the Earth's moving, all at the same speed, right?
No, not same speed, but the entire system's at the same rate.
So the entire
It's
system's
orbiting the same way that we
moving,
orbit around the star.
but we still have the same constellations since
They're very far
forever.
away. It's like looking at trees in the distance when you're on a train. They
Well,
move
how do
very,
you
very
have the
slowly
concentric circles then if they're all moving?
Because the Earth's rotating, Mel, and it's moving at a
So if the
different
Earth's
rate than the
rotating
star.
and all the stars are moving, why do you have
The stars
concentric
move by
circles?
minuscule amount over that period of time where the Earth does one full rotation.
Okay, we're getting lost. We're forgetting Marvin here, because obviously his dad is a flat earther, which is wonderful news. Marvin is on the fence. Mum's a glober. He's split Druss. So what we need is the best evidence that we are on a spinning ball flying through space. So Marvin can go and say, "Hey, Dad, guess what I've got? I've got the best evidence that you'll ever see. Of course, we are on a globe spinning, flying through space." So that's pretty much what. So Marvin, what you've just heard from Druss, does that? Where are you now? What's your position now?
I think there's a lot of different kind of things I can learn about it, and there's more kind of reasons to why I should more cater towards either round Earth or flat Earth.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's just going to take some time to make a good kind of judgment on it. But either way, I'm going to have an interesting convo with the old man.
Well, what we're going to do today for you is get you, at the very minimum, is one of the 3 questions answered. So you can take it back to Dad and say, "Hey, I've asked 3 questions. I've got empirical evidence of at least one of them." Obviously, the Earth curvature, measurements. Has anyone measured the Earth curve, guys?
Of course, Kino.
Of course. So, hit Marvin with how they measured the Earth curve. So we can take it back to his dad, though. Put it in a way that he can...
There you go, Marvin. I already knew this was coming.
Mm-hmm.
So you can look at these measurements. Again, can you see the chat?
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So I'm by the latest one by Jesse Kozlowski. What he did essentially is use some surveying equipment across water, because flat earthers love water, about 0.48 miles, and then he measured deviation from vertical, or I guess you could say deviation from horizontal, but in the vertical direction, showing curvature. And he took these measurements from both sides of a lake to make sure it's consistent, because on a sphere, no matter where you are, it's dropping in all directions. And the measurements are consistently that it's dropping about as we would expect. There are
Okay.
margins of error because it's still human equipment, but falls within those.
And then you know what happened, Marvin? Then Jesse Kozlowski disappeared from the scene, never to be seen or heard from ever again.
He could have done whatever he wanted. The evidence speaks for itself.
And BioGill's going to tell you that he measured curvature over a lake of water. Does that seem true to you?
Well, the measurements are provided, so the measurements speak for themselves.
Maybe Bio. We need to be a bit more thorough. How did he walk Marvin through of what he did? If you want, but Marvin.
Oh, I'm sorry. You asked the question of, are there measurements? I said yes. I backed up my claim.
There are measurements.
Here are the
Marvin.
measurements. I am done now.
Okay, that's fine. So Marvin, what do you think of those measurements?
Yeah, I can't remember who said it earlier, but they said how you have a bit of water or whatever, and it says it doesn't, you've never seen it curve.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess it's kind of referencing that.
You hear that,
It's
Bio?
Yes,
bizarre,
yes, they
bizarre,
hand wave it.
Marvin.
They hand wave it
bizarre.
all the time. All we do is provide the evidence, and we
They'd
explain.
only get away
well,
with
first
it in
we
here.
first we explain something. So to be a random question about a process, we explain the process. Then that sounds absurd. Show me in demonstration. We provide experiments, we provide measurements, we provide scientific papers, collaboration, all of these
They
things,
don't.
and then it's a hand wave, and then that's all we can do. So you're
They
right.
don't
Measurements have
provide-
been presented, and you can see how Merle is acting now.
They don't provide any of that. And any real world engineer like your father, if you told him that a lake was curving and you could shoot a laser over it or get a theodolite standing on a shore and look over a lake, these guys are ridiculous beyond.
Merle, you're saying that's impossible, yet the entire flat Earth, not all 100%, but the entire flat Earth community totes a 10-mile observation over water. Which is it? Can we look over water and make conclusions, or can't we?
Water is the measuring tool. Prove me wrong.
Right. That's why
It's the most
That's why he made
accurate
these measurements.
measuring
That's why he made
tool.
these measurements at a lake from coast to coast.
Every
Sure.
engineer on Earth knows this.
So again, back to my question: if this is absurd, taking a measurement at
So
0.48 miles.
Just let me finish the point, and then I'll leave.
Well, I'm
it.
going to get to the
There's
end.
no-
You stopped.
There's
so-
no hand waving. There's no hand waving. I'm not, unfortunately, a real world engineer. I know real world engineers. And if you brought this to a real world engineer right now, they wouldn't just hand wave you. You know what a real world engineer would do with Jesse Kozlowski's bullshit, don't you?
They would look at it first. Let's be honest. They would first look at it.
You wouldn't get off the first block.
Great. So anyway, Merle, I go back to the question: if a measurement over water of a distance of 0.48 miles is absurd, why does the entire flat Earth community hold on to a 10-mile observation over water? It sounds like a double standard to me. Not consistent at all.
Let's not try to bicker. Remember, Marvin has to take that information to his father. So, Marvin, there was also, I don't know if you heard of Soundly. Soundly brought an image, observations, showing the Earth is curving. Have you seen those images?
No, I've never seen.
Okay, let's take Roger, you want to post that picture again? Oh, let me get it. So when you look at this here, what do you see?
Oh, I saw that earlier. No,
Yes.
It piqued my interest. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. This is from Soundly. He's often here. He hasn't ran away. He did for a little bit, but he's back. So what's your opinion? What do you think when you see this?
Well, I need to kind of see it in person or find where it is.
Mm-hmm. This
I
is
guess
in there.
So I need to look up Lake Pontchartrain or whatever. it's
Pontchartrain,
called, yeah.
Lake Pontchartrain. Pontchartrain. This is in America.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to look it up because obviously just because it's an image, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
It's a common location. Kind of for both sides, to be honest. That's a common location that'll pop up.
What about this image Everett has posted? What do you think of images like this? This boat missing over the horizon. What do you think about those?
It's almost like a mirage, isn't it, in the desert?
Mm-hmm. Just say what you see. Just say what you see. I mean, there's no influence. Just what do you think's happening here?
Well, it looks like, obviously, from the pictures going behind the waves, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. Does this not tell you you're on a ball?
Well, I mean, we could be on, more of a, I guess, like almost like a bent plate shaped like a banana, maybe.
Or Velociraptor.
Well, no, because this effect happens like all around the Earth, so it can't be a plate. It'd have to be a ball. You can like follow this boat, and it'll keep happening.
I guess we'll have to follow the boat to find out.
Yeah, I mean we do.
Have you ever heard any sailors say, batten down the hatches, we're about to sail over the curve? Ever in human history?
Why would they be afraid of a curve?
No, I didn't say afraid. I said, have you ever heard a sailor or any maritime voyager say, batten down the hatches, we're about to sail over the curve?
Why would they say that, Merle? Because when they batten down the hatches, they're in for something not normal. They're in
You're
danger
about
of some
to
kind.
sail
So why would
over
they say that,
hill?
Merle?
You're about to sail over a hill.
Merle, you're a flat Earth liability.
What's a curve? If the Earth's a sphere and you're on a boat, are you sailing over a hill of
You're
water?
constantly sailing it. The curve would be
Over
so
a
big
hill
that it,
of water, right?
No, not a
Where's the
hill.
point where
No.
you sail over the curve and then
You don't.
down the curve
You don't.
and keep going? Of course
You
you
don't.
don't, because you're on a water plane, right?
No. Because you're describing it.
You're a
Super
globe Earth
egregiously.
liability. You're really pissing me off right now. You're not
I know,
being
because you don't
honest.
like being
You're
challenged.
not. No, you are not challenging me. You're lying to yourself, and you're trying to sway Marvin with bullshit. That's all
Right.
that's happening. That's what's triggering me.
I backed
You
up everything
are
that
not
I've said.
challenging me or anything I'm saying right now.
I backed
Marvin,
up everything I've said, and I made 2 specific points in which you couldn't explain the 2 celestial poles on a flat Earth. You refused and ignored that. Then I brought up the observations in which 0.48 miles is ridiculous, but 10 miles is touted as the greatest achievement of man. So the inconsistencies in those 2 particular things so far is hurting
for
your
clarity,
case, bro. Come on now.
Just for clarity, Marvin, the celestial pole argument has nothing to do with the shape of the Earth. If anything, it has to do with the shape of the sky. So
but it only makes sense if there's a certain shape of
hang
the
on,
Earth.
I'm talking to Marvin, and the reason I'm getting triggered is because I know these people online, that is, and the demonstrations they're providing you are bullshit. I'm just giving you a heads up.
That's a very good
but
rebuttal.
your argument was just now, we've never heard sailors say it's about to go over a curve. Like, do you see why that's a ridiculous argument? Like, one, I would ask, have you ever heard a sailor say, we're about to hit the end of the world or fall off the edge of the world? No. And two, if you're on a big enough ball, you're never going to realize you're going over the curve.
Where's the edge of the world if you're inside the perimeter?
There won't be an edge on a sphere, obviously, but there would be an edge
But
on a flat Earth.
if
But
you're
no one
in a
has
square,
documented this flat
if
Earth.
you're in a square inside that perimeter, when have you ever seen the edge?
Right. That's why it's not a square Earth, Merle. Come on, stay on track.
You don't know what you're on.
I know exactly
Stay on
what I'm
track.
on.
You're on the surface of
I've
something.
provided evidence for all my claims. Have you provided anything yet? No.
Well, the point is Merle's right.
Don't save him, Chemo.
No,
You've
again,
provided
we're
Jesse
moving away
Kozlowski
from...
an FE core video. Fuck up, BioJules, before
Is
you
that
get
it?
smashed.
Great
Yeah.
rebuttal. Great rebuttal. I'm gonna start rethinking my life decisions. You're doing great, Merle.
BioJules, you're just a gatekeeping shill, mate. You got nothing.
I provided explanations and evidences for my
Anyway,
explanation.
Marvin,
What have you
is
provided, Merle?
let's just check in with Marvin, then I'll be quiet.
Yes.
Is,
Well,
any,
excellent.
is anything BioJules saying swaying you either way, Marvin? Just for clarity, so he shuts the fuck up for a second.
I think just one kind of thing can't really sway. It kind of needs to be kind of more of a list. So instead of just having,
Well, we've got that list, Marvin. We have that list for you.
There you go.
We have
Try harder, BioJules, you faggot.
Well, hold on. To be fair,
well, how
man,
about
to be
you step
fair,
up the
hey,
game
stop
instead of
bickering.
giving
Quit the
insults?
bickering.
You're really being a flat Earth liability.
This is not
and
helping
it's really
your
not
case
a good look for
in
your
any way.
team.
Order.
Come on now.
Order. So, Marvin, they have a list for you. Okay, so they have sound lids curvature. Okay, they have BioJules, or we can say Jesse Kozlowski's theodolite observation, and then they have a boat disappearing bottom first. They don't take kindly to hand wave dismissals. So, what is your response to that list of 3 things: the curvature from sounding, the theodolites measuring it, and ships disappearing over the curvature, as it seems?
The ship's disappearing one to me, because obviously I can kind of think that in my head, or go, okay, so I could actually go out and see that myself. It's like a big one for me.
So the best one is the ship over the horizon for you, yeah?
For me, yeah, because I guess I can kind of relay that to,
Mm-hmm.
if you talk about like all the other points you guys were talking about, the easiest one to kind of talk to people about and let them understand it is, the ship on the horizon, because everyone has seen a boat at sea.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that's good. That's good. So you've got somewhere, guys. You're making progress.
Well, a lot more progress than Merle. He hasn't provided shit to us.
No, because he's looking for evidence to take back to Dad, right?
Right, and Merle has provided nothing. All he has is globe Earth
Doesn't need
evidence
to.
and nothing
We can do that in a
support his
minute.
dad. It's
We
unfortunate.
don't need to do that just yet. Don't worry. We're giving you the best opportunity, Bio, the best. Go, Marvin. Like you on a ball. Nothing wrong with that. Let's get.
Yeah,
into
we've
it.
been excelling at that. I
Okay.
do appreciate when Merle chimes in because he just bolsters our argument. Not much of a challenge at all.
Maybe let Marvin lead the conversation and ask his own questions.
I would like
instead
that
of
actually, Zan. That'd be a good
inserting
idea.
his mouth
Marvin, are you
feed.
up for that?
Yeah, sure.
Go for it.
BioJules a faggot.
See, Marvin,
Wow.
that's what we're talking about when we
serious?
talk about flat earthers.
Marvin,
No,
I'm a flat
not all of
earther,
them.
so
It has
please
nothing to
don't
do.
think that we're all calling
It has
people
nothing
names.
to do with flat earthers. It's just BioJules a faggot. Prove me
Why?
wrong.
So
Well,
I just had,
prove that he is,
a
you're making the
message
claim.
from someone in here called Gummo, and he says he's kind of on the same kind of boat as me. It says here, but his is split. His mother is actually the flat earther. Yeah.
Oh, that's so cool.
I don't know whether he's just joined just now.
What's his
He
name?
hasn't. I've just unmuted him. I've unmuted him. Welcome, Gummo. You have control of your mic.
Hello?
Hey, good man.
Hey, what's up?
Howdy.
How's it going?
Not too bad, not too bad. We're just trying to figure out what the shape of the Earth is. What's your opinion on the shape of the Earth?
Not too sure, really.
Mhm.
You know, obviously, there's people in here that have investigated it, believe in the flat Earth, so you obviously have some good arguments, and I've just been listening now,
Mhm.
They don't
thank
actually
you.
have any good arguments.
Wonderful.
Yes, we do.
Well, they have reasons, obviously, that they think the Earth is flat. They don't have no reasons, so I think I'd like to hear those.
We
and
do
consider
have
them, but
reasons.
obviously, yeah, of course. But obviously, I was raised, a globe earther.
Yeah.
Like anybody else. Even though my mom is now a flat earther, she doesn't impose that on me, but she's tried to, tell me about it. Same with the laser
Well-
tests that Marvin was talking about. The same stuff my mom has seen, and she doesn't believe in the moon landings and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and lots of other conspiracy theories, and I guess that all ties in, because if you think the Earth's flat, obviously, why would you trust the government? You'd start believing in other conspiracy theories and stuff. So, I just want to hear, what are you guys' biggest? Why is the Earth flat to you? That's what I want to know.
They
What's
won't
the-
tell
what's
you
the
the
thing that
evidence
tips
of
the-
how the Earth
tips
is
the
flat. They
scales or
will
whatever?
simply give you evidence as to why they think it's not false. They have
Yeah,
no
don't let
evidence.
us answer. Don't let us answer for ourselves. Just tell us what we're going to say. Go ahead, guys.
We're not looking at
Okay,
some
so they're
motherfucker
gonna
doing
say-
this motherfucking flesh shit, man. See some flesh shit, nigga. That's what's up, bitch.
Yeah, Xant's the faggot as well. So
Yo,
you've got a few
real
This
facts.
is just spiraling. These guys are trying to have a good conversation. Come on.
real quick, I'm new as well, and why can't we just like have a civil, like mature conversation? Like, why do we gotta call other people faggots and shit? That's just literally immature and unnecessary, bro.
Well, if there's people lying and gaslighting other people and trying to trigger other people, what is that technically? What word
lie
would
did
you
he tell?
use?
Well, that's
What word?
Well, I mean,
What
it's
word?
Gatekeeper.
That's just immature. It's just an.
That's
That's
not
just.
a
word-
very good
You
term.
said
just
you were a
person to
gatekeeper
person.
and a gaslighter, Mel.
Just person to person. What word would you use if you caught someone lying, gaslighting, and misleading people? What would you call them?
Or like a
In
sophist
this
or something.
in this
but still-
Discord, I'm probably not gonna attack them and call them any
Well,
sort of
I
swear
call
word because
them-
this is
I call
supposed to
them
be for
faggots,
conversation.
Okay.
Yeah, but
I
that's
call
just
them
unnecessary.
Deal
You can
with
think
it.
that in your mind, you know what I mean? But it's just
No, I can say it too because
yeah,
I
you
have
can
freedom
say
to
it, but it
speak,
just
and I'm
makes you
gonna
look like an
exercise it.
idiot.
Not in
No, it
It just
doesn't.
makes you look like a child, like a
It's-
little
it's not
teenager.
about-
That's
You're
angry.
American.
Word.
Go drop a bomb on someone.
Come on now,
But-
Greg
See, like
Normal.
that-
Can you
This
please
guy's
be
an
normal?
alcoholic. Get him out of here,
Yeah.
man. Get him out of here. This guy can't be mature and have a
Why your
discussion. Get him
brain
out of here.
stopped developing at like
This
12,
guy
bro?
needs to-
Get the fuck
He's an
out of here.
alcoholic. Get him out of here.
You're
Okay,
drunk or
order,
something.
order.
You
No,
can
we
come
don't
back
get anyone
later.
out of it. Order. I mean, there is a certain level of freedom of speech, which is what we like. But of course, we're trying to find out what the shape of the Earth is now. Gomer, you're like, how do we know it's flat? Yeah.
No, well, you obviously know it because you dedicated a majority of your time into investigating it and then
Mhm.
telling other people about it and discussing it. So, yeah, what are your biggest arguments and convinces you as individuals, not as a force, but you guys yourself? What's your biggest things that make you believe in the flat Earth? You know.
Well, I find like there are two kind of questions being asked when we're asked, how do we know it's flat? So I feel like we're asked, do we have a model? Can we model this flat Earth? Which is obviously no. And the other one is like, well, how do you
Wait,
know
what?
that what you're looking at
Wait.
is?
Can I
Why
interrupt you
can't
for a
you
second?
model it?
Yeah, why can't you model the flat Earth? Why wouldn't that
Well,
be
that's my
possible?
point. That's what I was just starting with. Because usually, like I say, when we're being asked, how do you know the Earth is flat? What you probably mean is, do you have a flat Earth model? Okay. So no, we don't
Well,
have a
well, no.
No, what I was saying is I want to hear your big three arguments that convince you personally that the Earth is flat. I don't care if you don't have a model or anything, because obviously that doesn't help me understand your views. I just want to hear what makes it. Well, not having a model is something that would be the opposite, I would think. You know.
Well, I, mean, I
So
would just
you
start
give some
very.
three
I would just start. I mean,
arguments that
again, it doesn't have to be elaborate or complex. I mean, when we go to the beach, what do we see? What do you see? What do I see? I mean, I think that's the basis where we can begin. Yeah, by observations. Do we observe a flat Earth? Do we observe a flat horizon? That's the
Same here,
first
yeah.
port of call, right? It's what do we see?
hmm
So do we
Yep,
see
at
that? Is
first
that what we
glance.
observe? Yeah.
At first glance, it looks flat. Yes.
That's what I'm talking about. So at first glance, it looks flat. So at second glance, what do we realize now?
Okay, so
Well,
just to summarize, your first argument is because it looks
I
flat.
see a
That's enough.
cube.
That's
No,
that's
yeah,
the
well, yeah,
biggest-
that could be
that's
the first
biggest
argument. So we go with what we see, yeah, without anyone telling us
That's
anything, without anyone influencing how we think. We can go with, I would go with what I would see, yeah. So, like the guy said
Yeah.
here,
Yeah,
on first
I'd like to
gla-
compare that to the Romans in believing that there was gods, like the water gods and stuff.
Yeah.
You know, they see things happening and they don't understand it, so they
like what?
come
Well,
up with
no,
an
no.
uneducated
it's
explanation.
fair. In the absence of other evidence,
Mhm.
the world looking flat is sufficient to believe it's flat.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
right?
That's what. So
So
now,
if we didn't have evidence for the round Earth, we should believe it's flat.
so
'cause
hold
we
on
have
now.
evidence for it being flat.
Stop there a minute, Michael. This is my point. See, now you're saying, well, at first glance it looks flat, but when we inspect it further, we see that it's not flat. Now that's where flat earthers are. You see, we see flat, we observe flat, and then we're told, well, no. Actually, did you know did you know? And we're like, did we know what? And you're going to say, well, did you know upon second inspection, upon third inspection, it's actually curving. So that's where we go from, guys. Isn't it? We don't need to go with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What's your best evidence of a flat Earth? We go with what we see. And then someone like yourself will come along and try to correct us. Now, I'm welcome to the correction. Let's correct us. Go for it. Correct us. Why is the observation we see incorrect, Michael?
Well, yeah. So I mean, it's not that it's a second or third observation. It's not like we're just looking at the beach multiple times. It's that we see more phenomenon in the world that can't be explained unless we have a spherical Earth. And so, like, astronomy is a huge one there. And people like to dismiss astronomy by saying, "Oh, you're looking at the sky. How can that tell us anything about the ground?"
Right.
But if certain observations of the sky can only make sense given a spherical Earth, or spherical ground, then that is a good argument to believe in the spherical ground.
Okay, so fine. Let's go with what you're saying. So you have observations to show the Earth is curving, yeah?
Well, yeah, I mean, obviously, I would want to research more, but yeah, I mean, there's a couple of real basic astronomical observations. Like, I think the moon and planets, and I think Marvin was saying earlier about how there's clockwise rotation at certain parts of the Earth always, and then at other areas of the Earth, it's inverted.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, all three of those only make sense, really, with a spherical model of the Earth.
Okay, so this is where, like, we clash, okay? So again, we have an observation where we see a flat horizontal horizon, and you're saying, well, I have an idea that if the stars and the moon are like this, and the Earth was like this, then this would make it a ball. Well, okay, but how are we going to verify that to be true? If the model works, say you're saying we can model these things, which is fine, but how do we make that comport with reality?
What are you asking to verify? Are you asking to verify, like, the deductive proofs that the only way these observations would work if we're on a ball? Or are you asking how we can prove that we're on a ball?
Well, I'm asking, you said, what do we have? And I said we have an observation. So I'm asking for a counter to that observation by showing, look, hey, you see curve, it's actually curving. It's not straight. I mean, you're crazy to think this is flat. I mean, we can show you measured. We can show you an observation of how much curve. I mean, you're talking about the sky,
look.
Which I accept if you want to say that. But then, do you have those observations yourself?
Well, yeah, I mean, I mentioned the observation. I mean, we could try and go in depth about why the moon gives credence to believe we're on a spherical object, or why planets have significance, or things like that.
But that would be poetry, right? That would be going into song of what I think, and I have a look there, and it must be, could be, should be, but that's not going to be actually what it is, right? Because we still see a flat horizon, right? How can
we would see we would see a flat horizon whether we were on a ball or a flat plane. If a ball is big enough and you're on it, it's going to look flat.
How do you know?
Right.
Bullshit.
Just imagine it for a second. Like, imagine a big basketball with an ant on the basketball.
I can imagine all sorts of things, Michael. But this is where we differentiate. You see, I'm talking about the really is level. You see.
Just believe.
No, Kim, I'm saying, you say I see a flat curve. I'm saying that is just a fact about how three-dimensional space works. If you're on a really big ball, it's going to look flat.
How do you know?
When have you ever been on a big ball?
Balls look like? What do you mean, how do I know?
When have you ever verified that?
When have you ever been on a big
basketball? What are you talking about?
When have you ever been on a big basketball? When have you ever been on a big basketball?
No, I'm saying, okay, so you can just pick up a basketball.
On a flat surface?
You can pick up a basketball and then raise it to your eye level and see that it's flat. There's a horizon.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, it curves in the other direction.
All right. No, that's even harder. Can you show me what you mean?
It's flat.
Okay. Can you show me what you mean? Give an example.
So, hang on. There's two things there. Water's level, the horizon's level, at sea level, at ground level. When does that change at elevation?
No, oh my God. Okay. If the ball is big enough, it's going to look perfectly flat.
Not arguing any of this, Michael. Again, we're not talking about the ifs, buts, and maybes. Okay, I want to know how you know this. Do you have a demonstration on the bigger ball? It would still look flat.
No, so I'm saying the situation is we're on such a big ball that it's not possible for us to see it unless we go out into space. And you guys don't believe anything.
I'm asking you how
No,
you know
I'm getting
this.
there. I'm getting there.
Oh.
The reason why we
Spurs,
know
you got to
it.
let him finish, Spurs.
Okay, that's right. Yeah.
So we'll say we don't know if we're on a ball or a flat plane. We see that it looks flat, so we presume that at that point. There's no way of us, even if it were a ball, we would not be able to tell it by looking at it unless we went to space, which you guys deny as conspiracies.
Okay.
So what I'm saying is there are like just deductive proofs based on how we know 3-dimensional space works when we look up at the sky that necessitate the ground being a ball.
How
So
do you know
it's a
these
proof
things?
through deduction.
How do you know these things?
But it's not just
it's a proof through
Come on, you had
deduction.
your
If
go.
it's not true, then the laws of logic don't work.
chemo. So it's not just a level plane. It's a rotating, orbiting spheroid. Prove that.
Well, yeah. So what I'm saying is that
prove
prove
the rotating, orbiting spheroid with gravity.
So what I'm saying, if all of the
Prove it.
observations we see, if all of the observations we see necessitate this being a rotating sphere, that's good reason to believe we are on a rotating sphere, even if we can't know for certain.
But nobody experiences a rotating, orbiting spheroid.
We do. We look up at the sky,
No,
we
we
see it
don't.
rotating.
If I had a child, okay, and I never showed them a picture of the planet Earth, they never heard TV, radio, anything. They just lived in nature. And then
Right.
one day they turned the radio on, and the radio starts telling them the heliocentric stuff. They're just going to be
No,
looking at me like,
no.
what's going
Well,
on?
maybe
It's like,
because
if you
your
weren't
child-
influenced by the information, you wouldn't think it. That's a fact.
Greg. No,
It's a
Greg.
fact.
Okay. Maybe your child wouldn't because maybe they wouldn't be very inquisitive or
No, it's
paying
a fact.
attention to the world around them.
Human, it's of no human would ever think this.
No, okay, Greg, this
It's an
isn't true.
outside
You-
influence.
Stop talking, dude. Let me respond.
No, it
This
didn't
isn't
come
true.
from you. You haven't
Dude,
thought
I
this
have
of
a
yourself.
I have a response.
No,
Stop.
you went to school and you were told
Oh my
this
God,
stuff.
you're
You didn't
retarded,
come up
dude.
with
Shut
it
up. I have a
yourself.
response.
No, you didn't come up with this yourself. These aren't your original
It doesn't matter
thoughts.
if I didn't come up with mathematics
Where
myself.
did you get these
It doesn't
thoughts?
mean I can't
then,
believe in
then
math.
I'll leave it. Where did you get these thoughts? Where did you buy them? Where did you buy your thoughts from the space?
I don't have to.
department?
I don't have to originate every belief I have.
So you bought these ideas and
I
concepts.
accepted ideas based on rationality.
You bought them. You bought them.
No, I
You
didn't. I didn't buy
with
them.
yourself.
Okay, Greg, can you shut up and let me respond now? The ancient Greeks believed the earth was flat, or not flat, round, because of the observations they saw around them. No one told them that the earth was round.
Okay, so look,
They
let's-
made
let-
observations, and they're like,
a
yeah, the
lot
world's
of
gotta be
your,
round. This is the only model that
observations-
makes sense of it.
Michael, a lot of your observations are based on if this, then that. Yeah, so if the sun does this, if the stars do that, then that. Yeah?
Mhm.
That's how you're doing
Yeah.
it, right?
Yeah, I believe in logic.
Okay.
You're the retard, mate.
So-
You're an idiot.
Give an
So
argument.
Michael,
You tell me I'm a retard when I say believe in logic.
I just gave
Okay, you
I
are a
gave
liability
you
to flat
I
earthers.
gave you the argument that you didn't come up with these ideas yourself.
That
So
is not
you've
an
been
argument.
let me finish. You've been influenced by authorities outside of you. You're gullible and you've been deceived. Prove me wrong.
Okay, Greg.
Come
an
on,
argument
retard.
Not being an argument being originated by me is not necessary for the argument to be true.
Where
I
did
didn't
you get
invent
the
mathematics.
ideas then, retard?
In school, they gave me evidence.
So you're a gullible fool.
No, because they gave me evidence. I only believed it because I have evidence.
You were never given evidence. You were just told information.
I am giving you evidence right now.
What evidence were you given?
I mentioned a couple. I mentioned
Handed?
astronomical
Did you get anything
observations, like-
handed to you, or a piece of paper with some words on it?
What? No, I'm saying that. Okay, I
Show
don't
me
need-
how
I don't
smart
need
you are
paper.
right now. So you went to school. You never discerned any of the information, did you?
What do you mean by that?
So if you sit a test, they're going, grass is green, sky is blue, right? Did you verify that yourself?
Yes.
Right. So you've verified those things. When did you verify the Earth was a planet?
So
When?
the types
When
of
was the
observations
exact
that-
moment you did that?
There was
The
not an
answer
exact
is
moment when I
you
looked at the
haven't,
sky.
You fuckwit.
No, there's not an exact moment when I look at
You
the sky and observe
haven't
these things.
ever
I have,
done
I
it.
have.
None of you.
I have.
None
When
of
I-
you
okay,
preppy
so-
American fuckwits have ever done this.
Oh,
He
man.
answer the
Greg,
question.
Greg,
He's just been talked all
Greg.
over.
No, listen, you American arrogant
Oh,
fuckwits.
Someone
come
mute this
on,
retard.
dude.
He's just talking about
No, no one's gonna mute me. You're gonna be like shrunk.
Oh my god.
Oh no.
That's
Heard
awesome.
of Honey,
You
I
don't say
Shrunk the
shit like
Kids?
that.
Ever heard of Honey, I Shrunk the Kids? You're gonna
well,
have your
stop having
brain
fun.
shrunk a bit.
So
No,
Greg,
fuck
this
this
is
guy.
like Greg. This is like if I asked you when was the exact moment you looked at the moon. It's like there's not an exact moment. I do it every night.
Yeah, I was
It would
young
not make
when
sense.
that happened.
The
I could
moon would
probably
not
tell
make
you the
sense.
exact moment that happened.
No, because I'm sure you did it when you were like a fucking 1-year-old, like outside
Yeah, I
with
was
your
young.
mom. It wasn't an exact
Yeah,
moment.
so what? Why was I outside with my mum?
I'm
I
saying
wasn't outside
humans
with
go
my mum.
outside with their kids. Your mom probably brought you outside one time as a fucking neonatal infant.
What if it was my dad?
It doesn't matter. Okay, you're the most bad faith person here, dude. Anyone serious want to talk to me?
Sure.
Listen, mate. I'm probably one of the most serious people you'll ever talk to about this.
You're a joke, bro. You're just name calling people and not answering any questions. You're the least serious person here, bro.
Prove it.
You asked
You
four
prove it.
questions
You can.
and
You
didn't give
proved
him a
it
chance
for
to
me.
answer any one of
You
them.
know, in
well,
fact,
that's a good
I can
example.
think of the moment.
What's that
Last night,
noise?
I looked at the moon.
Well, check this out. You're young.
How old am I?
Oh
You're young.
shit.
You really got him there, bro. You really got him with that
That
one.
rebuttal,
am I?
Merle. You're doing
You're
great.
you're young and
How old are
dumb
you, Merle?
and
Oh.
probably full of shit.
How old are you? How old are you, Merle?
Merle's old enough to
Does
know
it
better.
matter?
What? I mean, does it matter how old I am?
I mean, why don't you bring something to the conversation rather than typical American trolly preppy boy crap?
You
Why
are
are you
literally the one
protecting,
trolling.
Merle?
You're just saying, "Oh, you're
No,
American."
no. I've
Yeah,
been
You
on
hate
this-
Americans, don't you?
I've been. Yeah, I fucking hate Americans. They're
Why?
scum.
Why do you hate all Americans?
Because they're trained to lie.
That's racist.
Prejudice.
They're trained
prejudice,
to
not
lie
racist.
from birth. They're full of actors.
What's different between like
acting
the
and lying in
society
America
and anywhere
is like
else?
breathing. It's a
Are
problem.
you drunk? Are you drunk right now?
No, I'm Australian and I'm a realist. And part of the problem I see on Earth is there's a nation called America filled with people like you who are so arrogant, think you know it all.
You know,
And you're
I
here to
understand
win
that you're
arguments.
Australian and that sucks, and you know you wish you weren't. But
See what I mean?
it's not an argument.
Don't worry,
to
it
just call
won't
me
take
American.
long for him to prove his racism against people outside America.
Prejudice,
Don't worry about that, guys.
You just now. Okay, I don't give a shit about your claims of racism when you're gonna call us all Americans.
Yeah, but what's happening outside America, mate?
Why do you care?
even
We're all
know?
the same,
Lots
bro.
of things are happening outside of America. What are you talking
Ever
about?
been outside America?
No, have you ever been to
I'm
America?
from like California, dude.
All right, let's
Dude,
get
I'm
back
from,
to
like,
let's get back to this
You ever been
this
outside of
globe
Australia?
that we're supposed to be living on.
Yeah, I have.
It's like,
Where?
Let's
yeah, like,
let's
dude, I'm
so
from like LA, dude. I'm from
what's
like,
that noise? That background noise? What's that noise? Someone's got a hot
Shroomy.
mic. Echo.
Shroomy.
fuck up.
Okay. Anyway,
So,
any flat
Michael-
earthers want to talk?
Michael, again, so if you notice the difference between my statement, which was very concise, very obvious, very clear, we see flat, we observe flat, and then you went off into Wonderland and said, well, if this, if that, if, then it will make it a ball. Now, you're presupposing the globe, Michael. Okay?
Okay.
And that's part of the problem.
explanation. An explanation does not need to be a one sentence long, simple statement about "I see there, therefore it is." Okay,
No, I
for it to
agree
be a
with you.
valid
I agree
explanation.
with what you're saying. You're saying that just because you see flat doesn't mean it's flat, right?
Yeah.
You're saying the
And
ball is too big. How big? How big is the ball?
I don't know the number. I mean, I'm sure if I googled it, I'd find the canonical one. But it doesn't. The fact that if a ball is so big, it's going to appear flat, no matter where you are on it, is independent from it being a specific size. It's about the proportions of the observers on the ball and the size of the ball.
There you go again. With
If humans were...
Well, what about the facts? What are the facts, Michael? The fact is that we see
What?
flat, right? We observe flat. Even though you think it's
The
not
fact is
flat, we see flat,
Sure.
right? That's the first
we
fact.
also
we observe
see
flat. What's the next fact?
Sure. The next fact is that we see astronomical phenomenon that can only be explained per a round Earth rotating model.
Okay, let's have a look at these phenomena.
Okay, so I mean the classic Professor Dave one is the moon, that we always see the same face of the moon no
What is
matter
the
where we
moon?
are on the Earth. Well, we don't need to know what is the moon. We
Well,
just
I think we do
well,
to,
we can
know,
make
to
some
understand how it
well,
works,
we can
right?
make so yeah so the only thing we need to know about the moon is how three-dimensional space works. So we can say maybe
Well,
the moon's a
we
plate.
know the moon is
right?
a 3D object. How do we know that?
Well, no. So we know that we live in a three-dimensional world, and the way that the burden of proof works is we only assume things when we have reason to. We don't invent random what ifs, right? So because all of the evidence we have is that the world is three-dimensional, the burden is on you to show that space is different or the moon is different. So we presume that the moon
Well,
is
that's what I'm asking. I'm
three-dimensional.
asking for the evidence. What is the evidence to how you know what you know? I haven't argued with you. I haven't dismissed. I'm saying
Well,
there's a
okay,
lot.
so like if I see a ball in front of me, I presume it's three-dimensional, right? And that's justified per presumption theory. The burden's on you to show that the ball in front of me is not three-dimensional.
Well, you see straight lines on this ball, right? If you had 4 straight lines, could you make a sphere with those straight lines?
4 straight lines? I don't.
4
think you can
straight
make a sphere.
lines. You couldn't make a
Maybe.
sphere with straight lines, could you?
Right.
If no, okay, but it like so straight. If you have a line that has a very very slight curve, like we're talking like 0.1% rate of curvature, and it's like 10,000 miles long, it's going to appear straight at almost every position, even though it's slightly curving. The curve is it's not noticeable when it's that big.
This is minutia.
So it's not actually straight lines.
It's not minutia. You can't
minutia.
make spheres out of straight lines.
They're not really straight lines. It has a small amount of curve.
Again, this is the problem here. We're model talking, okay? And this is where the problem lies, is the fact that you're going back to your model. You're saying, well, if that, then this. Now, again...
I'm sorry you don't like logic.
No, again, there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with how you're processing things, putting things together.
That is logical, though. Like, any engineer or scientist wouldn't hand wave things like this away. You could say it's minutia. They're details. These are the people have found flaws in the spherical model because it doesn't match reality.
Okay, the argument you just now gave was you can't make a sphere out of flat lines.
You can't.
That's not a genuine argument.
It's impossible.
But they're not actually. They're not flat lines. They're very long, slightly curved lines.
No, but that's a fact, right? You can't make a sphere out of straight lines.
They're not straight lines.
Can you make a sphere out of straight lines? Yes or no?
You can't make a sphere out of perfectly
thank
straight
you.
lines.
That's all.
Well, actually, you can with enough of them. You can just draw an infinite number of tangential lines to make a
With
sphere.
distortion, you can. Yes, that's what we have maps.
Not even
We
just
have-
distortion.
We have maps of straight lines representing the Earth, but because there's distortion, there is distortion because it's representing a sphere.
Well, I mean, okay, let's think about 4 lines. That makes a square, right? Okay, what about 6? Okay, that makes, whatever shape, and then a pentagon and a hectagon. Whatever. We keep increasing the amount of number of lines. It's going to become a sphere.
Hey,
You
can I
can
interject
make
for a second?
spheres.
Yeah, who's that?
This seems like this conversation is going nowhere.
Exactly.
Because it's rather semantical. So I think
Well,
that we should focus on things that can be proven and
Exactly. This is what I'm trying to do. Mel, can you not
Actually,
take him into
actual
the
evidence,
model
not
lag?
talking
Because
of
with every
I am
model...
giving you provable arguments
Well,
for why
what
it
you're
needs to be a
doing-
sphere, and you're just like, whoa, if then logic doesn't exist.
Yes, Michael. What you're doing is giving us a conditionals. Okay, so we were asking you to
Yeah.
check those conditions. So if the Earth is a ball, okay, with a radius of 3959, for example, we should be able to check that. If you're saying the moon is this, it's that, we should be able to check those things.
So,
right? Not
Yeah.
go off your
I'll
assumption
leave
that
it-
if something, then that.
I'll leave it after this. See, for me, just believe it or not, the straight line argument is definitive. When you add them up, you don't get a sphere. So for me, it's a very fine, strong point.
do you mean?
It does go. See, railway tracks for a start. Okay, there's lots of examples you can have with an even surface. Okay, that travel for long miles, straight lines, Cartesian grid systems, datum points.
I don't. The fact that railroad lines.
A triangle is straight lines. 3. So
do you think curved lines don't exist?
I'm nearly there. They do exist, but straight lines exist as well. And when it comes to geometric shapes, okay, you try. Anyone try it. Get straight
Do you think
lines.
circles exist? Do you think a circle exists?
That's not the point. You cannot make a sphere out of straight lines. When you go to reality, the Earth is covered in straight lines.
Do you not understand that a
Everything's
curved
built
line?
even and to the level. Everything.
If you look, no, we have curves all throughout nature, dude.
I'm
We have
talking
curves
facts.
all
This
throughout
isn't a
nature.
listen, mate. This is not conspiracy theory. This is science. This is real world engineering. This is applied by every single person, every nation.
What
on this
argument are
earth.
you trying to make?
If-
What is just
The,
condense?
the
What's the
argument
argument you're trying to make?
is the Earth cannot be a sphere because of applied engineering.
Why is that? Because you see some straight lines somewhere.
They engineer to the level. The level
that
is a
mean?
horizontal.
No, that's not true.
Yes, it is true.
No, they build bridges
fact.
to account for curvature.
It's not my
they build
opinion.
bridges to account
It's
for
not
curvature.
my belief. It's a fact. It's hard science.
Get your IQ tested. That's all I can say.
No.
Man, this is ridiculous.
No.
Or come back sober, please.
Everything I'm saying is factual and true. No amount of gaslighting or you trying to make me doubt myself will work, you American punk.
You just
Try
told
it
me that-
again
what
and I'll
skyscrapers
insult you
exist.
further. You crawl back in your mum's cunt and don't come out. Fuck you, mate. I'm not going to
that
let you
deserves
gaslight me.
muting, doesn't it?
I'm not going
That
to let this
deserves
cunt.
muting.
No, tell him not to
No.
gaslight me then, Becky, you
Well,
fucking
please don't
bitch.
speak like that.
Whoa!
Whoa.
You fucking bitch.
I muted
someone
him.
get this
I
guy
muted him,
outta
guys,
here.
because he was just ruining the conversation with that.
Michael,
It's clear that
guy's
he's
just
like
drunk
drunk
or
or something
drunk
right
or
now.
To be
Focus.
fair, Becky,
Yeah.
it gets worse than that.
focus, Michael, focus.
Yeah.
Now,
Oh, he's still going in chat.
focus, Michael.
Yeah.
So we're looking for evidence that we're on a ball, not a presupposed conditional if this then that. Because if this then that, we can come up with any kinds of reasoning. So what kind of
but it's not just,
practic-
it's not just if then. It is the case that we see these things.
Okay, so that's what we're trying to validate. Can you show us then that the horizon is actually curving? Because that was the initial premise.
I'm
Yeah?
saying that is the only way that would be possible is if we went to outer space, and you guys deny all of those pieces of evidence. So I can't prove it through that method.
The only
I
way
have to
is
prove it through
outer space.
the only way you'd be able to tell that you're on a ball if the ball is sufficiently large is by going away from it in space and looking at it.
Mhm.
You
So-
guys don't reject any of that evidence, or you do reject all that evidence.
What is space?
It's the absence of, like, it's just like
The
the absence
vacuum
of
of
matter.
space.
Well, I haven't. I did. You brought it up. You said space. What is it?
Well, it's the outside of our atmosphere. It's the absence of matter. It's like the absence of the type of environment.
What's in
It's
space?
what's happening between this guy's ears.
What's in space?
Zing.
You're
Michael?
confusing vacuum and space.
The definition of space is that there's like nothing in it. I mean, you can have some things in space,
No,
but
that's vacuum. You're confusing the definitions.
Well, hold on. Let's know what. Let's see what Michael knows. Michael, what is outer? You said you can go into outer space and take a picture, yeah? Not you, but the
Yeah.
astronauts or a satellite or something, yeah?
yeah,
Okay, can you show me?
the pictures.
Mhm.
Yeah, I can do a quick Google search.
Okay. Very good.
Chemo has been shown these images thousands of times. Take note.
Yeah, I've seen hundreds of thousands of images. I just want to see one that you choose. Which one do you like?
I mean, I'm gonna have to try and find one. I'm on YouTube looking for I've seen SpaceX launches where they go to space.
See, I haven't dismissed anything you've said. I'm just saying let's take a look at what you've seen, right?
Michael,
I mean, I've
if I
just seen
may,
pictures of space in general. I mean, wait,
you're getting lost here. Come back to the astronomical observations. This is why we know the Earth is not flat.
No, but
Yeah,
he
I mean, I
says
prefer to talk about
he
that,
can
but
show
it's
pictures from
derailing.
space,
Well, I can certainly show pictures of space, but I mean,
not the Earth.
Yeah, there's pictures from space too.
Because I said to you the horizon looks flat. You said the only way I can show you that it's curving is by pictures from space.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying just logically, the only way you could possibly prove the shape of a ball, if the ball is sufficiently large, is by going away from it, going to
Let's
space.
do it. Let's see it.
Except if you can watch the sky.
Let's take a
No,
look.
because
Let's
what's
do
going
it.
to happen is I'm going to give you pictures, and you're just going to say they're fabricated.
Let's take a look at it first. For goodness sakes.
No, but you can watch the sky with your bare eyes, right? That's not no fabrication here.
Right now, he's not asking about looking at the sky. He's asking about looking at the Earth from the sky. So I sent a
Scott
picture in
gave
chat.
him
I think
pictures that Scott's dad took himself in space, and he said they were fake. So
No. That's fine. So you're happy with this picture, yeah?
well, I don't know.
Marvin-
I just went on Google and I right-clicked one. I don't know if this is,
Well, try and find one that
edited
you're
or anything.
happy with. That you're happy it's curvature.
I don't know what the line of
Marvin-
argumentation is. I know the end of this is you're just going to be like, look, this is fake. I don't care.
I haven't
If you
said
don't like
any
it,
of that. I'm just asking for one that you're happy with. I mean, where are you jumping the gun like that
I'm saying
for?
I know that you're never going to accept any picture or video of space I give you. So let's just not talk about that. Let's talk about these other indirect proofs I have.
Well, but real quick,
No, like you
the
said,
picture has a
Marvin-
fisheye filter on it, though. That's the
Marvin-
worst example.
Marvin said that his father taught him about the stars, right? So we can use that argument and that line of reasoning. We can say,
yeah, we can get
okay,
to that. I
what-
just want to finish this point off with
So-
Michael. Won't take long.
This
So, Michael,
okay,
that
so I'm
picture, you
on the
happy with this
Wikipedia
picture?
page.
Oh, you want this?
There might be fisheye in that picture or something. I don't know.
Okay.
There's probably fisheye.
Okay.
This picture on Wikipedia, the blue marble,
marble?
says it was taken by the Apollo 17.
Okay, so you're happy with this picture now?
I mean, it might be the case that there was, I don't know.
Can I say something
Some
about that
editing, but
picture real
sure.
quick?
Yeah.
Do you know where that picture came from, Michael? Do you have any clue how this came along?
No, I'm not a picture of Earth extravagant.
Okay. You want me to
connoisseur, I
explain?
don't know.
You want me to explain
Sure.
to you how NASA and all these other companies claim they get these pictures? So basically, this is not like an actual photograph, because according to them it'd be too blurry and you couldn't really recognize it. They basically use some type of data that they capture using several little sensor stations across the world to basically put together this image. So what you're seeing is just a 3D model of the Earth anyways. So this proves nothing.
Well, I mean, it might have been the case that it would be too difficult. Like the type of picture we'd be able to get from space of the Earth would just look so shitty that they instead got data to replicate it using a simulation or something.
they use composites with satellites, but with the blue marble, it was a full shot. It wasn't composited.
I mean,
Well,
I'm
what's
happy
the
with that. I'm happy to go with that. It's a full shot, whether it's composites or not. Are you happy with this image?
I mean, well, someone just now said that it was not real and it was just
Oh,
data.
for
So in
goodness
that case,
sake,
I
can you
wouldn't be
find a
happy with the
real
image.
one that you're happy with then?
No, I already told you I'm not interested in this line of dialogue. I get that you're going to say they're all fake.
No, I haven't said any of that.
No, I mean, I think that's what you're
Do
going
you
to
think they're
say.
fake?
No. Well, I mean, these photos might be. I know that NASA often uses non-visual data to simulate
So
visual
can you
pictures.
provide
because
me a
it's
picture
hard
that
to
you
take
then
pictures.
are happy with that is real?
If you want me to take some time and do research and look into the which photo was taken and when or whatever.
No,
But
just
it's-
find any picture
it's
that you're happy
orthogonal.
with that it's the Earth.
Yeah, I'm saying I'd have to research it. When you just Google Earth, there's a lot of fake photos.
Oh, for good. Why haven't we got a real picture of the Earth then?
What is the goal of this line of argumentation?
To find a real picture
you're
of the
just gonna say
Earth
they're fake.
that you're happy
You're
with.
just going to say they're fake.
That's it. Just to find a real picture that you are happy with.
The goal of the argument is to show that America is beside one of the biggest criminal acts in human history, which is showing the modern people that the Earth is a globe. They are the culprits.
Why are you
They
still
are the
on
ones
about
who
America,
committed-
though?
Because
Who
they're
lost
the
weight?
ones who did it. They're the ones who faked the moon landing. They're the ones who own NASA. You've got Elon Musk. You guys are fucked.
Okay,
Here's
look.
the line.
Michael.
Yes,
Picture.
we use this, Kimo?
Can you find a real picture that you're happy with?
I just sent you. Can we use this live stream from the ISS?
Right, you're happy with the ISS, yeah?
I mean, I think so. I mean,
Oh, for goodness
it'd be pretty
sakes.
weird if this was fake. but
Are you sure you want a ball or
This is
not?
the
You want a
Earth.
globe or not? Is the Earth curving or not?
I'm pretty confident. Ball.
So you're
I'm
not
pretty
sure?
confident we're on a ball.
You're not sure?
I'm saying you can't be sure of anything physical, but I'm pretty confident.
Why are we
Like,
talking
I'm
to
like
you then? I want
90
someone who knows they're on a ball without any doubt.
Dude, I'm saying this is just you can't know anything. I'm like 98% confident that we're on a
So you don't know for sure.
Holy
What if
shit,
you're
dude.
in a
What about you?
simulator?
Do you know for sure?
What if you're in a simulator?
Where did you get your certainty, Kim?
not know anything. We can
What
only
if you're in a
we can only be
simulator?
confident, and I'm just 98%
Ali.
confident.
How do you
Simulator.
say your name? Al E.
Kimo,
Hold on, we haven't
Kimo,
been
I'm telling
introduced to Al E. Tentia. Hello.
Yeah, did you understand my question?
Kimo,
I don't
I'm
understand your
just
name.
admitting
Can you say your name?
Le teinturier.
Tenturi.
Holy shit.
So you only listen to people that have certainty, right? That's what you said?
No. Of course not.
So Kimo, the only thing I'm saying is that I could be wrong. I could be wrong about anything.
Mhm.
You should be happy to hear that, not be
But how
I
could
don't
we
want to talk to
be wrong after all this time?
you. Yeah, I could be wrong about anything. We're
How,
fallible
how could
creatures.
civilization be wrong about the globe after all this time?
I just now answered that because these are very complicated matters. I mean, it could be the case that there's a massive conspiracy going on. Maybe the government's lying to me. Maybe the scientists are lying to me. Maybe everything's fabricated. All of these are possible.
Mhm.
I don't think they're likely.
Kimo, all you gotta do is get 2 sticks. There it is. Proves it.
Right.
Right.
So it seems, Michael, you're not as confident as when you first began. I mean, I thought you
No, I
knew
am
you were on a
confident. I'm
ball.
just humble in knowing that. Okay. Do you like know the ideal of Socrates, where he knows that he knows nothing, even if he's really confident? It's
Look,
like that.
Michael, let's not get into philosophy. Either the Earth is a globe, or it's not. Either it is, or
Are
it
you
isn't.
drunk? Are you drinking tonight? Are you drinking tonight?
No, I'm sticking on to the point of the globe.
Oh,
Okay,
just answer it. Are you drinking tonight? I want to know this.
it's the morning in here, Michael.
In the morning, are you drinking? Are you
No.
completely sober right now, or have you
No,
drank
Michael,
a little
it's
bit?
too early for that.
Okay, well then I don't really know what's going on.
So, Michael, like I said, either you're a man or you're a woman. Okay?
Michael, you're questioning your beliefs
You
now.
specifically, Michael, not anyone else. You are either a man or a woman. Yeah, you're not
I'm
in
not
between, are
questioning my
you?
belief. I'm just an open-minded person.
Are you saying there's
I
a possibility,
could-
Michael? I need to know who I'm talking to. Is there a possibility that you could be a woman?
There's a possibility that
You
my
could
view
be
that
a
I'm
woman.
man
You
could be
might be a
wrong.
woman. In your mind view, in your world, you could be a woman.
Yeah, it's possible that I could be hallucinating right now.
Okay, so you don't know if you're a man or not, yes?
I'm confident that I'm a man. I'm like 99% certain I'm a man.
But there's a small chance you could be a woman.
There's a small chance I could
Jesus
be in a
Christ,
simulation
guys,
right now,
come
dude.
on.
Take a fucking philosophy course. This
Okay,
is
Merle,
101.
he's all yours. I mean, again, this guy, again.
How does it feel to be gaslit, Michael, and have yourself doubt your own thoughts? How does that feel, Michael?
I'm not doubting anything. You guys are just fucking retards.
Hey, Michael, when you realize that your cosmology is fantasy, how will that make you feel when you find that out, that we were right and we were telling the truth?
Comment.
Now, how will you deal with that? I want to know. I want to know
Well,
that
how do
you
you feel
fantasy
being
space
Well, I
people.
can answer that.
When
If
you realize
I-
that your whole reality is
I
based
have
on
an answer,
nothing,
Greg. I have an answer, Greg. If
I just want to
if I
know
see-
how you guys
I have
gonna
okay.
deal
Well,
with
if you
it.
want to know, then listen to my fucking answer. I have an answer for you. So, if it is the case where I'm presented with sufficient evidence to believe that the Earth is flat, or sufficient disprovings of the evidence I have for the Earth being round, then I would gladly change my mind. I only want the truth.
But then what's going to happen once you change your mind? Then I'll be quiet. I just want to know what then. How
Well,
will
I
you
would-
change?
How would I change? What do you mean? Like, I would change my beliefs. I would no longer believe the Earth is round.
Like, do
I would.
you think that would make you more skeptical from, say, what you get told by the television set or the radio or what you read in the newspaper? Like, are you a skeptic about any of it? Or do you think
I
it's
mean,
all real? You're being told the truth by everybody every single moment of every day. Like, I'm just trying to gauge where you're at.
Those are not
Right.
the only options. I mean, I think that lots of the mainstream media is accurate and lying, but I don't hold that view about most of science. I mean, so.
Okay.
Well,
I
why
would-
would science be excluded though? Why would that be the one topic where they don't lie to you?
Because if science is wrong, then rockets don't work.
Yeah, it's a fair point. Because there's an applied technology and there's high level sophistication, and that's what I think leads a lot of people to believe all of the claims, because they've got rockets, they've got cars, they've got trains, they've got submarines, rockets. We've got a lot of innovative technology here, but the only thing that seems to be happening is when they say they're going into space, believe it or not, they don't seem to be able to do that.
So, I mean, like I say, there are some zealots, Michael. You see, but again, there's no point attacking someone for their religious belief. If you just believe it's a globe and you're just going with what you were told, that's fine. Okay, just like we see religious people, they're just told about and they just accept it. Okay, they don't actually go out there and verify anything for themselves. So, for me, the fact that you've said you don't know 100%, you're not sure. After all this time, after 500 years plus, you're still not sure that it's definitely a globe. Job is done.
No, Chemo. I told you, I am like 98% confident. Just like I'm like 99% confident that communism is a bad idea, right?
Yeah. Just an opinion, exactly. Just an opinion. So you're giving your opinion is just like, yeah, I think it's a globe. That's just my opinion. I can't prove it's a globe, but that's just what we were told. It's just my belief. That's good enough for me. You see?
Hey, can I interrupt for a minute? I just
That's job
can I
done.
just quick interruption.
Let me
if I
respond to
may,
this
Michael, excuse me.
brain-dead comment.
And we got there in the end, right?
No.
Yeah, okay, we got there.
I
So,
can prove-
Michael, just a quick question.
Holy shit.
Marvin, what do you think about this so far? Are you still there, Marvin?
Yeah, I am.
What's
What do
your
you think,
take
Marvin?
on how
What do
the
you think is
argument's
happening?
progressing?
I think you're like zealots.
Yeah, it's a cult, Marvin.
Nice one.
It's a
Oh,
cult.
hold on. Who's the zealots? The globe earthers or the flat earthers?
All of us. You said, look,
I
you're
think,
all zealots.
I think Greg Normal is a bit of a zealot.
Yeah.
He's
Get
an
in,
alpha,
Marvin.
alpha male.
I'm an alpha. Alpha
Chemo.
zealot. Much
Michael,
respect.
job is done because, like I said, all I need from the public or the individual is to accept that they don't know for sure if they're on a ball or not. Now, what we get usually are
just
ball
shows your
earthers who say,
ignorance.
I know we're on a ball. There is no way the Earth is flat. It's 100% a ball, 100% curving, 100% flying in space. It's just impossible for it to be anything else. Now, for you to say to me, wow, I mean, I put it by percent. There's a good chance we're on a ball, but who knows?
Why
That's
didn't
good
you
enough.
answer my question? Why didn't you answer my question? My question was, how do you get your certainty, Kimo? Where do you get it?
Tests, experiments.
Wait,
What kind of test?
You have 100%.
Well,
certainty,
for example, if someone says water can conform around the exterior of an object, and I test that, I know 100% water cannot conform around the exterior without a force.
So you trust your senses. Your senses are 100% certain.
No, the experiments. Once you conduct an experiment, manipulate your independent variable, you will be 100% sure.
How do you
No, but
measure?
okay, in order to observe the experiment, you have to trust your senses, your eyesight, your brain thoughts, processing.
Right?
Those could be flawed.
How?
Do you acknowledge that?
How?
Well, your senses could be lying to you.
It's called the
Your
problem
visual
of induction that was laid out
that's
by
true.
David Hume
But that's true.
300
But
years ago.
in terms of this experiment, how is it flawed?
Well, no, we're saying okay, you can use these methods of proof, but how do you prove the methods of proof you're using?
By listening to the claim, okay, and demonstrating that claim to be true or false.
So you're trying to support the claim by
No. So
pointing to
if
this
someone makes a
experiment.
claim, like water can conform around the exterior of an object without a force, then I'm going to test that claim to see if that is true or false. Now, I've tested it so far and it's false. Now, if you're saying, well, I've tested it and it's true, let's take a look.
No, Kimo, your observations of the experiment and the experiment data could be flawed because your eyeballs
That's
could
what I'm
be
saying.
lying to you.
That's what I'm asking to you. That's what I'm saying to you.
So you should not have 100% certainty because there's always the possibility your eyeballs are lying to you.
Well, my experiments tell me otherwise.
Your eyeballs show you the experiment. They could be flawed.
How would you know that?
I'm not saying how do you know that. I'm saying it could be the case. How do you know it's not?
Yeah, how do you know they are?
I'm not saying they are. I'm saying they could be.
Are you
Couldn't they?
kidding? They are. Of course, our senses are flawed and they're deceive ourselves.
Not when
all
it
the
comes
time.
to experiments of this nature. Obviously, if you're looking at distance at something like a mirage, can be deceived. If you're looking if you're looking at, say, a picture that could be CGI or real, you can be deceived. If you're looking at an illusion, you can. But when it comes to science and you're manipulating your independent variable and you're testing your hypothesis, your senses will not fail you whatsoever.
Kimo, oh my god, it's not a. What do you mean your senses? What about schizophrenic people who perform experiments and they see demons and shit?
Give me an example. Show me a schizophrenic person conducting a scientific experiment.
What created GPS? What created it?
That is so zero. Go away.
Well, I'm looking for an example of Michael of when a schizophrenic person has done a scientific experiment and they failed.
But hang on a second. This thing about the senses being flawed.
I don't care about your GPS argument.
Sorry. GPS was created by the senses. Laser-guided missiles were created by human senses.
Sure.
How flawed are they, really?
Well, no, I'm saying, how do we know that they're not flawed? It could be the case that we're plugged into a machine that's just showing rockets. There's some creator who has us in a vat trying to trick us into thinking our senses are valid by just making rockets fly.
Well, let me make one more
You ever play
example.
virtual reality games?
There's a high-speed train that whizzes by in Japan. That was actually
fake.
built by people.
It could be fake. How do you know it's actually built? It could be fake. It could be an illusion.
Because I've seen it. And I've been
Oh
on
my
one.
god, you could be hallucinating.
I've been on one.
How do you know?
How
your
do I
eyeballs
know?
could be lying to you. Your senses could be lying to you. Your touch feet could be lying to you.
This is the last question I'm going to ask you. Michael, do you think that there is something called actual reality?
Actual reality?
You're confusing epistemology with ontology.
The world of facts and figures, like 2 + 2 = 4. Wood comes from a tree. Stuff like that.
I believe it exists, but I could be wrong. I acknowledge that because I'm not close-minded like you guys.
Okay. I rest my case.
I mean, I think math is a different
epistemology with
subject.
ontology.
I think things like math and logic, those are impossible to not exist. Like we can prove those for sure. But things like the physical world, yeah, we can't know.
I actually enjoyed this exchange with you, Michael, and I'm sorry that I got a little bit heated with you.
I appreciate that. And yeah, I mean, it'd be cool if we could talk some other time and continue it.
What secures the laws of logic?
I mean, that's a heavy conversation. But yeah, I mean, the thing about logic and math is that they're completely analytical realms. You don't need to appeal to the physical world, which it relies on your senses to understand.
And Michael, just quickly, if I could just quickly interrupt, because I have talked to Kimo about this before about your senses, and particularly in aviation, you get into bad weather where you can't see the horizon. All accidents caused by flying into bad weather isn't the weather that killed you. It's your senses fucking with your mind. Your senses can and will kill you.
Yeah, and I'm not telling people that they shouldn't trust their senses. I'm
So
just
look,
saying
Michael,
that
problem
you
is
can't
we've
be-
got real ball earthers who truly believe they're on a ball spinning, flying through space.
No, chemo. What I'm saying
Like, Jazz,
is,
like for
you're
example,
saying,
like I'll give you an example.
Chemo.
Jazza here. Jazza said if the Earth is flat, he would jump off a cliff. He said there was no way the Earth is flat. It's absolutely 100% a globe. Michael. Now that's what we're looking for. People who are committed to the religion, who are committed to the idea, so we can have a discussion about
it is a
what
religion,
really
it's good.
is. Yeah? That's what we're looking for, Michael. Someone like Jazza who, if it turns out to be flat, God forbid that he jumps off a cliff, but that's the kind of passion we're looking for, Michael. Not someone who's
Why?
like, maybe,
Why would that be so bad?
Michael's like, maybe it is flat, we just don't know what's real, nobody knows anything in this world, so if you're not
Hello?
sure, Michael, or know how to
You're gonna
process
have a problem
information,
because the
Chemo.
scientific method is based on skepticism. Skepticism doesn't allow.
I am as sure as I can be that well, I mean, I probably could be a tiny bit more, if I did more research, but I'm pretty, like, as far as confidence goes, like, just as I'm confident that my mom is still alive, even though I could be wrong about that, I'm confident that the Earth is round.
look, I'm sure every person going
can
to
I
fight
say
Mike,
something?
every person going to fight Mike Tyson was confident. What did it mean? It meant Jack. Right.
Well, no,
you
Kimo,
see?
I
So
already-
that's what we're talking about here. So again, we want to be able to demonstrate that you can beat Mike Tyson. Not just, oh, yeah, I'm confident, look at me, and if I do this, if I train like this, then of course I can beat him. Of course I can beat Tyson if I do this and if I do that. Well, have you done it? No. So the idea is that you believe, you have a strong belief, a religious belief at that you can
No, it's
beat,
not religious. It's
you
based
can
on- it's
beat
based
Mike
on
Tyson.
evidence. It's based
so
on
now,
evidence.
for example, your confidence is the same that you're on a ball. Let's see you actually deliver the goods. Let's see an actual measurement of Earth curvature, for example.
No, I already told you we can prove
This
the
has
Earth
already been
curvature
provided
through indirect methods by looking to the stars. By looking at astronomy, we can indirectly prove the shape of the Earth.
Okay, so we could say the same thing, that this only works on a flat plane.
What? No, the observations we see would not work on a
They
flat
would only
plane.
work on a flat plane. Now, we can
No,
get
they-
into
they would
philosophy
not
and
work on a flat
poetry
plane.
all day long and argue like kids. Yes, it would. No, it wouldn't. You would tell me to demonstrate it. I'm asking you to demonstrate this on a globe.
So, Kimo, anytime I give you proof, you just say, oh, that's just philosophy.
Well, we've got Marvin here. Whatever you give us today, Marvin will give to his father. But give us the
Let's talk
evidence
to Marvin.
that the sky
Let's talk to Marvin.
proves the Earth as a globe. Let's take a look.
Yeah,
Hey, Kimo, why don't we give
When are you going to
Michael?
give us evidence? When are you going to give us some evidence, Kimo?
Why don't we give Michael a moment to think about what he said?
Let's
Then
catch
you
everybody
give
up.
Kimo something, Michael.
Let's catch everybody up. We've got Marvin here. Now, Marvin's father is a flat earther. Mother is a ball earther. Marvin is looking for information from the globe. He's joined today because he heard about this server, that this is the best place to get globe information. So he's looking to take something back to father and say, hey, Dad, it's not flat. It's a globe. Now, so far, Marvin, do you have anything you can take to your father at the moment?
Yeah, I've quite a few good points. I think I've learned the most from Greg.
Marvin.
Yes.
I have a question.
Marvin,
Marvin.
I'm going to give you a link to my channel.
No, hold on. Let's be serious, guys. Marvin, what? You don't have to tell us what, but do you have information, evidence for
He
the
just said
globe
he
to
had
take back
some.
to your father?
Yeah, I have how we spoke about how he was looking through like a scope over a lake, and then you
Yeah.
can see how it curves, and obviously my dad can relate to that.
So I have a question for Marvin. Marvin, do you acknowledge how like batshit insane and absurd that Kimo and Greg have been? I mean, just with this whole little like spat about how I don't know that the Earth is round because I'm only 98% certain. Therefore, aha, round Earth are defeated. Like, do you see how ridiculous they are?
You're the ridiculous one, actually. Sorry to tell you,
Yeah.
but I think you're the only one that thinks everyone else is ridiculous.
Okay, wait. Okay, let's talk about that, my pet. You think I'm ridiculous for saying that I can't
Yeah.
know anything about
Everyone
the physical world?
thinks
I can
you're
just be
ridiculous.
Yes,
talking.
that's the
I don't
stupidest
think
thing
it's
I've
debate on
ever
it.
heard.
Let's debate on
I
it.
didn't say
I will-
anything.
I will
Actually,
rank
I don't
any of
think
you
it's
on this. Let's
ridiculous.
go.
You're just saying, how do we know
thinks
if
that
anything is
wants to-
real? How do we know anything?
You're
That's the
fucking
most
idiot.
stupid argument I've ever heard. How do we know
Okay, let's
this is
go.
real?
Let's-
How do we know anything is real?
Why is that
Howdy,
stupid?
howdy.
Right,
Why
right.
is
Let
that
the
stupid?
type and come up with
Why is
some
it stupid? No,
psychological
let's go.
arguments.
I'll
We're
fucking rank
talking
any
about
of you on
facts
this. Let's
here.
go.
I interrupted a while ago and said, let's talk about real shit, not this psychological,
Right.
philosophy shit.
Right.
Let's talk about
Yes.
the real facts
I
and
understand that you
evidence.
don't like having to think abstractly, but that doesn't
No,
answer the
Michael,
argument.
that's not what we're here for.
He
If you
just wants to think normal. He doesn't want to
I
think.
want to think linearly and logically. You're thinking about
yeah.
No,
How
because when I give you when I
all
give
this
you
junk.
logical proofs, when I give
And
you logical
Gumby.
proofs, you say, "Oh, that's too complicated. That's if-then conditional."
And
Can I
Gumby's
said very quickly. So, I mean, I've got a problem with kind of where you're going there. I mean, to me, knowledge isn't absolute certainty on a proposition, is it?
Knowledge? Yeah, knowledge is just a justified true belief, right?
Yeah, it's a belief that you
you could
justify
define
that
it that
you
way.
hold to be true until the contrary is proved.
it
Okay,
is,
so if
unless
we're-
you're a
if
flat
we're
earther.
gonna- If we're going to define knowledge as just a justified true belief, then yeah, I do know the Earth is round. But if we're defining knowledge as absolute
You said
certainty,
you
100%,
don't know.
no, because most people take knowledge to mean 100% certainty, and you can't know
No.
that about anything pertaining to the
Nothing's
physical world.
100% certain, and you know that.
Then
Why not?
we
I
all know that
fucking
the Earth's
said
a
that.
globe.
I literally said
let's-
that, and he
let's
was
go-
calling me out for it.
But you want to be illogical about it and talk all this shenanigans about.
No,
all
Gumbo,
this
I
stuff, so let's
said
just talk
I'm
about the
98. I said I'm 98% certain that the Earth is round, and he's like, "Whoa, that means you're not certain, so therefore I
well,
win."
Michael, let's
Facts,
meet
dude.
in the middle, okay?
Let's stop
Let's
talking
just
about how
stop
sure
about
you
this
as an individual
philosophical
are.
bullshit. Yeah, and
let's
let's just
talk
be
about
real
the fucking
about
facts.
stuff.
Let's listen to some arguments,
Yeah.
not about your individual opinion, dude.
He already gave the arguments.
It's like what Howard said.
No,
earlier,
he
Michael.
said I can't be sure about anything. Only 99.9% it could be. That's just ridiculous.
That's
If you
ridiculous.
were
Why
a
is it
little
It just has
bit
no
edu-
place in the
if you
server.
were a little
Wait,
bit
why is it-
educated
why
on
is it ridiculous?
philosophy and philosophy
Tell me
of
why it's
science, you would
ridiculous.
know
It's
that
ridiculous,
the-
Michael, because like I say, we have real globe earthers who are absolutely 100% sure that after
No, they're not.
500 years plus, some say 2,000 years, but after all this time, Michael, after the moon landings, the ISS, there is no way that the Earth is flat. Now you're like, after all of this, it still might be flat. Who knows? I could be wrong.
So you're telling what?
Chemo.
You're saying what we think again, are you, Chemo?
G'day, Mippet.
We-
That's
we could-
what
we could go-
basically we're getting from this guy.
God.
Is
No,
well, I'm not
Chemo,
100%
I already
sure
told-
after all of this time.
We
See?
could go
Kimo,
for
do you
10,000 years
understand though
doing
that
science.
if it's flat, when you say that about there's no way it's flat because of all these other things, well, our position, if it is flat, what does that mean? It means that everything is wrong virtually. Nothing is as it seems. It doesn't mean you guys are correct about how you came to thinking the earth was flat. Do you get that?
I 100% agree with you, Mr. Corleone.
Well, I've always had a bone to pick with you about your name, Curved Water. Have you ever seen that in your life? You grumpy
Yeah.
old fuck. Where?
Oh my goodness.
Where have you seen it?
It's all over the world, Merle.
So when a
droplet of
when
water.
when a wave collapses, what happens to it before it turns into white foam?
It goes through all kinds of different shapes and contours. What's your point, Merle?
Well,
Merle,
when you've
you
got
think
like
you can stick a goddamn ruler in a fish tank and determine the earth is flat? Fuck off, you mental fucking midget.
Welcome to Flat Earth.
No, yeah, well, come at me some more, Merle. You ought to know better.
Well,
Yeah, you're
where's
getting
the curved-
destroyed, bro. You're getting destroyed.
Where's the curved water? We all want
All
to see it.
over the globe, Merle. You don't know how to think, Merle. When you learn how to
Well,
think, come back and challenge us.
Curved,
when-
I've got a
I see
question.
curved water all the time.
Yeah, sure you do. You fucking faggots.
Curved. What do you think about what Howard said
Yeah,
earlier?
we all know when you go to insults, you have no argument.
Yeah. You don't have anything to begin with, so just mute again.
Right.
Thanks.
Right.
You're just here for. You're like the hype man. You know, like a
Say
typical
again,
American hype man
Here we
sitting
go
on the
again.
bench.
About the Americans, man. Here we go again.
Yeah. Well, the problem is the Americans love to chime in. They're just waiting to get on the court, bounce that
That's everyone.
basketball.
Everyone wants to talk about this.
Yeah,
we don't. We don't want to
everybody wants to jump in, but when it comes to the facts, they haven't got any.
Michael, you haven't replied to Howard yet.
Do you know what a
is
fact
Howard?
is?
Howard needs
What's
nuts.
See, when you know what a fact is, you know that there's no curved water. Look it up in the dictionary or on the encyclopedia. There's no
You want me
curved
to-
water.
You think the dictionary on encyclopedia is going to tell me the shape of the Earth?
Look, type in Google right now, where is the curved water? Everybody do it. See what
Yeah,
comes
that's a
up.
good. Yeah, that'd be a good start, right, Merle? Let's just go and type in.
Go on, all type it into
You
Google and
guys
see what
are
comes
just-
up.
you're just
Siri will
life
even say to
vampires,
you,
dude.
you are
Well, actually,
retards.
you could just ask Siri. Hey, just say, "Hey Siri, what shape is the Earth?"
No, ask Siri about curved water and how you can
Dude,
find
Greg,
something.
just ask her what
it's
shape
clear
the
that
Earth
you,
is.
you
Hey,
just enjoy
Siri.
trolling.
That easy.
Is the Earth flat?
What do you think
You're a
she'll say?
fucking retard. No,
I
of course
said
not.
no.
Ask Siri if she's ever seen curved water.
Hey Siri, have you ever seen curved water? I'm not sure I understand.
Ah.
No.
Malformed question.
Oh, that must mean the Earth is flat. Holy shit!
Well, the Earth's
Mo,
covered in
this-
water, guys.
Well, this is from a surviving textbook, you know, and also is represented in the encyclopedia as well. And they're discussing the concept of level in this under level theory in surveying. Yeah, I think that they're quite happy with the fact that shit curves. You know, water's level and it conforms to the shape of the Earth.
What makes it
Yeah.
curved, Ross?
Gravity, of course. Don't be stupid.
So you have nothing, as usual. Thank you.
No, I said gravity. That's not nothing. We've got lots.
You
of
have a
elements.
word.
Gravity.
I have an actual substance.
No, we have substance behind it. We have the acceleration towards mass.
Gravity is
We have lots of
invisible.
observations.
Water actually exists.
Magnetism isn't invisible, and yet it actually exists.
So is wind. Wind's invisible
Oxygen
too, isn't
is
it? With its
invisible,
effects.
and it actually exists. And
You
so on
can't
and
give
so
me
forth.
a jar of gravity, but I can
You
give you a jar
Give
of
me a
water.
jar-
Actually, you
Huh.
could. You can show things
Give me
falling
a
in a jar.
jar of gravity. I'll
Give me a
wait.
jar- Give me a jar of pure oxygen.
Give me a jar of magnetism.
At least I can give you all.
Just put
At
magnets
least
in
I
a
can
jar.
actually give you the glass of water. All you can do is give me a word.
Give me a jar of electricity.
It's a strong point
put a
made
battery
by the
in a jar.
retard flat earther just there. Can I get a round of applause, please?
Oh, the retard thought he got a good point.
Hey Merle, show me a
The
picture
Earth's
of a
flat,
building.
Moyle,
from 80
and you
miles
know
away.
it.
Not cute. He thinks he's got a point.
Yeah, it's covered in
Oh,
water.
goodness.
It's not moving. There's mountains and valleys, land and
How do we
water.
get sidetracked onto this?
It's all you've
negative
got to
IQ
choose from, guys.
argumentation here?
Yeah,
You've
Merle's
got
other
land and
people
water,
here to
guys.
finally
like
talk to.
scattergunning here.
You've
And
got
Mole's
land
dominating
and water.
it now.
Land
Chemo, you're a
and
piss
water.
poor role model.
Land and water. Land and water. What's difficult about that? Land and water. Get used to it. That's Earth. Fuck you all.
Oh man.
Wow.
What about the sky?
That's amazing, Merle.
I've turned.
All right, well, how about you try and stay on one topic, Merle?
Well, how about we don't invoke the Merle? That's probably a good start. And let some of the new people talk.
The new people want to hear me speak because I'm making simple points that anyone
you
can
gonna bring?
understand.
Merle, what are you going to bring to the table? What do you got for us? Give me
I'm
one
just
piece
going
of
to let
evidence.
I'm just going to let everybody know that The Earth's not moving. You know that, everyone,
All right,
right?
give us
Trust
the-
your
give us
senses. No,
some
shut up,
evidence.
B-Ball. I'm talking to everybody, you included. So
Go
when
ahead.
you get up
We'll wait for you to be
and you
finished.
go outside and you look around, the Earth's not moving. The water is level, and that's reality.
Right.
You've been
Water's
lied
level.
to. You've been lied to. You're not in space. You can't
how would I
go to
verify if
space.
I've been lied to?
What you can
Well,
verify is that you exist on the Earth. It's not moving. It's covered in water and land. That's all you've got to choose from.
How do you verify that?
Two things. There you
All
go.
right. Are you ever going to be done talking, Merle?
It's not. It's
Right.
not difficult.
You think you can know that, but we can't know what we know. That's interesting,
And
Merle.
and you guys want to pretend that people can't
Merle.
understand this.
You want to
Merle, how
pretend
would
you're
I-
intelligent, Merle.
Merle, how
Merle,
would I
it's-
figure out whether or not the water's curving?
It's not
Merle,
difficult.
Merle, instead of you changing your name to Greg Normal, can you change it to Dunning-Kruger?
Well, because there's land and water, Jazz, I don't need any of you
Merle, I asked
to
you a
mug me
question.
off anymore. I don't need to
Merle, I
turn the TV on to tell me what the Earth is.
Neither
Merle,
do
I
we.
asked you a
See the
question.
difference? I'm
Merle, I
not a
asked you a question.
retard. That's the problem.
Merle, I asked you a question.
Again, you should change it to Dunning-Kruger because you just said you're not a retard. But I love you still. You're a good dude.
Merle,
You know, it's just
I asked you
simple
a
for me.
question, Merle. Does he have me turned down?
It's very
Well,
simple, I know.
The Earth will never be a globe. It never was. It can't.
Merle,
It's
do you have me
impossible.
muted?
I don't want to hear you pretend that you think
I asked you a question.
you know
I asked you a question,
that
Merle.
the Earth is something different to what I think it is.
Merle, I asked you a question, man. Come on.
Well,
How would I
be
figure
real.
out whether or not the water is curving? Where would I start?
You'd start by measuring it.
Tell them, Merle, fish tank. You start with
That's
the
a
fish
good place
tank.
to start.
You see it's flat. You
So
make
I
the
start
fish
with
tank
what, a cup of
bigger
water?
and bigger and bigger. And eventually, the Earth is just a huge fish tank. Because Merle. What could be
See,
simpler than that?
He just proved my point, and that's actually gone to
So
my
you
heart.
said measuring,
Merle
right?
thinks that's proof. Now, how serious of an argument do you want to have with them?
Well, what it's really about is I brought the fish tank because it's practical for a start and it's small, right? If you can't understand a simple concept, how are you going to understand a complicated one?
Merle, if the Earth was round to the size we say it's been measured, how much curve do you think there would be in a small fish tank? And how would you measure that?
See, if you can't understand the fish tank experiment, which is scientific, by the way,
I mean, that's a direct.
how
question.
are you ever
Did
going to
answer the
understand
question?
bigger concepts when you can't understand water in a fish tank?
I mean, that was a direct question. How would you measure that?
With a ruler.
And hang on, Merle, in direct relation to this, because you're using a fish tank in relation to the Earth, my question would be, even on a smaller scale, would be, is every single point on the surface of a cue ball flat or curved?
Well,
Every
this
single
is the
what?
last thing. This is the last thing. I'm gonna
Every
say
single
about it.
point of a cue ball, is it flat or curved?
Please use a different term than point.
Everybody
No,
in
that's
this
every single
room
point.
knows. Everybody in
Alright.
this room knows that water doesn't curve into spheres. The only time you
I don't
see
know
that is
that.
in a
Without a
raindrop.
force, Merle.
Merle, you know
Merle,
that.
remember, without a
Everybody
force.
knows that.
Merle, remember,
Everybody
without a
knows
force.
that.
I don't know that,
Yeah?
Merle.
Without a force.
But the main thing is everybody
You're
knows
bored.
that.
6.99 billion people
You,
don't
you,
agree with you.
The main
You
thing
have
is
to-
you're boring,
you have to-
Merle.
but you have to gaslight yourself into thinking that it
No,
does.
Merle, you're insane. Stop being crazy right now.
There's nothing crazy about realizing that water doesn't form a sphere.
All right, I'm about to turn my RTARD switch on. If you don't start asking questions.
And everybody realizes that. So why doesn't everybody just be honest for once, and we'll all unanimously agree that water
Merle,
doesn't
I asked
do
you
that?
an honest question, which you never answered.
And
I
then
need
you
to
go
tune in.
you
Real
go to
quick.
the next step. The Earth is covered in water, so how can it be a sphere? And then you're in flat Earth all of a sudden, and then you realize that you've been lied to about everything, and we're all here together, and that's the real conversation that no one wants to have.
All right.
Merle,
Here we go. Here we go.
Are you one paranoid little bitch?
I just want to know why no one wants to have the real conversation.
The reason is because the reason is, Mel, is because they've got evidence of this globe. Okay? Why on earth would they accept these things when they have 500 years of evidence, which we're going to present
Hang
now? To you,
Timo
Mel, and
B-Ball's
obviously
been trying to
Marvin.
get out his Otard question for a while now.
Yeah, we can get to that. But the point, I'm just letting everyone know that, Mel, the idea is that why they believe this
Let
is
him
because
ask, Chemo.
the idea is that because they have evidence.
Chemo, let him ask his question, man. You know you cut in.
Because they have evidence, Mel, of the globe, this is the reason why
Holy
they
fuck.
believe what they do. Okay? Go ahead, B-Ball for life.
Yes, we have the evidence. Yes, we do. You're right, Kimo. We do have the evidence.
Mm-hmm.
But I was asking Merle, how would you measure curvature in a small fish tank?
I could answer that if you want.
How much curvature do you think there would be in a small fish tank?
Go on, Jerry.
All you have to
No.
do is
No. This is for you, Merle.
No,
for you,
go
Merle.
go on, Jerry.
You've been going on and on for the past, I don't know how long. I'm asking you a question.
How did we even get here? It's just because Curved keeps quoting Howard about all this fucking stupid water stuff, bro. That's all he's been doing.
Well,
for whatever reason, he's just been quoting Howard all day.
The problem is time is being wasted. You're all arguing over something that's already been figured out. You've got an opportunity here to go the next step. You've been fucked.
Okay.
The Earth's not a globe.
Merle,
The
okay.
Earth's
All right, check this
not
out. Check
flat
this out.
either.
We'll
No,
go
let me
this way.
finish, B-Ball, then I'll shut up. The Earth isn't what you think it is. You have no
Okay,
origin.
so-
Just let me finish, mate. Then you can
Go ahead,
chime
man,
in.
'cause you're never gonna finish, but go
The
ahead.
Earth isn't what you think it is. Humans have no origin. Check that out. That's real. We didn't evolve from monkeys. We're in a place.
Okay, that's a whole
None of us
different-
know
that's a
what's
whole
going
different
on.
topic. We're
We're
not
only
talking
here
about
for at best 100 years. You've got a green light on. People are waking up. Now the elites are here. You know they exist. They've got the whole structure you're in locked down right now. They've got people being vaccinated. This
Just
is a
had
real
mine.
situation, guys. Wake up, because if you don't, what future are you going to have?
Okay, we'll do this, Merle. Check
There's
this out.
been wars. Bombs
Merle,
have been
holy
dropped.
crap, dude.
You know this is real. People
You're not
kill
a
each
messiah.
other with
It's a
weapons.
fact.
This whole Earth
Are
is
you talking to
controlled by
yourself?
military, government, banking
Hello,
control.
Merle?
It's real. I'm not
Are
a
you talking to
liar.
yourself,
I've been out here years, guys. The Earth
Okay.
isn't a globe.
So
It's
do you
a serious
think
thing.
there's?
It's not
do
a
you think
joke.
there's atomic bombs? Do you think that's a thing?
Yeah, they've got big weapon systems.
All right.
All right, what does that have to do with the water? Can we get back to the water, Merle?
Yeah, Curved has been real quiet, by the way. I'm just saying he's been just tuning out. He just lost
No,
his
don't
argument.
ask him a question. Don't ask him a question. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so again,
Who's the stupid little bitch saying my name? with
It's
stupid
me,
shit?
bro. It's me. What are you gonna do? You're just
What's
being
your
a little
problem?
bitch and quoting Howard, dude.
Quoting who?
Howard, bro.
Who the fuck
Howard.
is Howard?
Howard, these nuts, you old fucking geezer.
What?
Is there something wrong with you?
What are you?
I got a
fucking
disability.
You got
Disability
you,
to
bro.
get disbred.
He was asking if you can reply to Curved, if you can reply to Howard.
I don't even know who Howard is.
It's Howard Deuce nuts.
How would you like these? How would you like these nuts?
That's funny.
That wasn't.
What about Mike? What do you got to say about Mike, though?
Who's Mike?
Mike
It was
cock
like-
in your mouth.
That was like one of those things when Bart used to
Fucking
ring
preschool
Lois.
trolling here.
Oh, that was funny when I was in 8th grade, bro. My goodness, come on, man.
Howard.
So funny.
Okay. So, we've got
Shut up, Chemo, or I'll mute you.
We've got two new guys in here. Interestingly enough, Kurt, where the mother,
Fuck off, Chemo.
the mother is a flat earther, the father is a ball earther, and we have a father who's a flat earther and a mother who's a globe earther.
I'm sure you used that line like 20 minutes ago.
Yeah, and we're trying to find out if we have evidence for the globe. Now, so far, we've had
Yeah,
from
I've actually
Michael.
sent him. The
we got-
guy who said his dad's a flat earther. If you check your DMs, I sent you a bunch of stuff along with a link to my channel.
Jesus Christ, we've got plenty of evidence of that. You just choose to ignore it.
All right, Jazza, let's start with Jazza. What's the best evidence for the globe?
The best evidence would be the evidence of the globe from space. But you
There
guys,
is no fucking evidence, bro.
Keep going, keep
There
going,
is none.
Jazza. Go on.
See, here we go.
Keep going,
See, here
Jazza.
we
So
go.
the best
See,
evidence
look,
is
listen
the
to this.
evidence.
What would you like?
Yeah?
Listen to yours. Listen to yours.
Would you like to
Listen
go with the
yours.
sunset? Which
Start
one you
playing
want?
the
You want
saxophone.
the
Listen to yours.
sunset?
Listen to yours.
Would
Listen to
you
yours.
like the southern celestial pole? Which one you want to go to?
So, all right, so
Southern
Jazza,
celestial pole,
you want to? Okay,
sunset.
B-ball. B-ball.
We could go with weather. We could go with fucking trips to the moon, trips to Mars. We could go with the actual photos that aren't CGI that you have that you seem to fucking ignore.
I don't see
For
this
one.
in the chat, Jazza. Where are you posting
pictures
these?
of
And the
mountains.
tens of thousands of
Jazza,
people
where are
that
you posting
watch
these things, Jazza?
rockets take off.
Jazza, where are you posting these things that you're talking about? I don't see where you're post. What time did you post that?
I don't
Pictures
need
of
to
the Earth from
because I'm not a
space,
paranoid,
memoir,
ignorant,
age.
arrogant, narcissistic asshole. I don't need to show it to you.
Just need to
I
talk
just
about
told
it,
you
yeah?
what you are, and
Mhm.
that I gave you the reason why you choose to ignore it.
Yeah, but I don't see you
Doesn't-
posting
doesn't
what
mean
you're
it's fake.
saying.
Because
Yeah, you
I'm
don't
not
have to
going to waste my time
Yeah, don't waste your time.
posting shit.
All right, Jazza, don't worry about it then. So
Because you're
people,
a paranoid,
all right,
angry,
Jazza,
arrogant
Jazza, all right, Jazza, calm down. It's okay. So Bebo for
Because
life.
Emo's not going to post anything supporting the flat Earth. So
Well, we have observations. Like I said, we see the horizon. It looks flat.
Let me guess.
Yes,
It
Kimmy,
looks level.
Kimmy, hang on.
What more?
hang on,
What
hang
more
on,
would you
hang on.
need, Bebo for life?
Go ahead. Who was saying hang on? I wanted to say something.
I was saying, hang on a second. Look, if we see the
Somebody else was
horizon,
saying hang on.
what's the problem with seeing the horizon where it's flat and level?
But it's
Can.
not flat and level.
So what is it then? That's what I'm asking you. What do you see?
Well, the horizon is actually slightly curved.
Okay, excellent. Can you show us that slightly curve?
I sure can. Let me jump through this hoop real quick for you to
No, it's
hand
not
wave
for
this
me. This is
What
for
hoop are you
Marvin.
talking about?
Not for me.
You
This is
sound
for we've got some new guys, people, on the fence. It's not for me. These guys want to see how you know we're on a ball.
I want to see you jumping through that hoop you're talking about because I don't know what the fuck you're on.
So
Hey,
B-Ball
let's
for Life
calm
says he
down.
has a picture of slight curve, yeah?
Well, before he even shows his argument while he's providing the evidence, I just know that you can't even see the curve unless you're at like, at
No,
least in the
B-Ball
global model,
can.
if you're at like 70,000 feet.
No, B-Ball's different. He's unique from the rest of the ballers. He's got evidence of this slight curve. B-Ball, when you're ready.
Because it can't be
Yeah, let me-
measured
hold
with
on,
a
hold
laser.
on.
You don't
Oh, wait.
a model
Getting
Earth
my-
is life.
I'm doing some stretching. I'm doing some stretching real quick so I can jump through this hoop. Hold on a second.
Well, it should be a
B-Ball.
simple. It should be a
Marvin,
very,
you're
very
ready.
simple hoop. You
Hold
should
on.
have.
Wait.
Mm-hmm.
How's that calibrated instrument you've got there,
Great.
B-Ball?
It's great. It's great. There, ugh. there we go. There's that hoop I just jumped through. There it is.
Oh, a video from Virgin Earth is Life? Dude, this is literally, this could be edited. Why are you using this as an official source?
Just like any other video.
How do you know that this is real? I wouldn't take this as 100% evidence.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I forgot. All pictures from space are fake, right? I forgot about
Domo
that.
gets it.
My bad.
I'm not saying
No
all
one's
of them are
saying
fake. I'm
that.
just saying, how am I gonna use this as evidence? And what does that even prove?
Pictures
You know?
prove nothing.
Do
Absolutely
you want me
nothing.
to explain it to you? Here, I'll explain it to you.
Doggy.
Right? So